doesn't know us? No, Julia, right, perfect. So
backstory.
Yeah, backstory is we basically, obviously we're in Arbonne, but we really struggled to kind of figure out Instagram and social media for a long time. So we built Arbonne for 10 years.
Well, it's not any struggle. We were just going through the motions with no results.
You just don't know. You just kind of like, what am I doing? So we just, we invested a bit of money and we learned kind of stuff. And now we've kind of found like, oh my gosh, people, we're just a bit stuck. I think we're just a bit stuck on what we're doing. This is just kind of, the kind of old methods. So we'll go through it. Some of it you're going to know, some of it you're going to be like, tick, but don't look at it like, oh, this is a waste of my time. Look at it more, okay, great, I'm doing that right. Or, tick the box here. And then because there'll be points where you're like, oh my God, I had no idea about that. Like that's going to save so much time or whatever. But it's a very open chat. So guys, please, please, please interrupt us. Questions 100%. We want this interactive. We want to help you. We want you to leave going, okay, I feel so much better, or I've learned something.
I just have one question to ask of all of you. If you will allow us to please be brutally honest, do we have the authority to do that with your accounts when we're going through? Because that's where it starts. Okay, and you might have heard Tanya. There was a little bit of a sunflower or face. That was along the lines of where we're going to go, like profile pictures, what your bio says, your name, all that sort of stuff. So don't take it to heart, because as the email I shared with Andrea, which you may have not received, the definition of insanity, guys, and especially in this space, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We want to change things up so that you have different results with your Instagram, because it's an interesting world we live in, and we seem so committed to our Instagram, even though after years and years and years, some of us are not getting the results that we expected.
And the big thing too we want to say is, you might see someone on social media, whether it's network marketing or whatever, who you think are nailing it because they're posting a fizz stick and then suddenly they've sold 50,000 fizz sticks. The question is it working for you, what you are doing? So if you are sponsoring like crazy, if you are, selling product like you can't control, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. Obviously, people are very different, but I know for us, it was like definition of insanity. It's like we looked like we were kind of doing it right, but we weren't getting the results. So we're like, hold on, we want results at the end of the day. We don't just want to keep posting what we think we're supposed to post, because that's kind of what it should be. So we've kind of had to go around, and I think that's where we struggle with our industries, because it's like we're told to kind of be all on the social media of all Arbonne or whatever, but the reality is people just unfollow or they block. And then the only people that are liking our stuff are Arbonne people. So it's like, well, who are we actually trying to kind of attract here? Whereas for us now, we sell more product than we've ever sold ever, because of how we are on Instagram. So it's kind of a thing of just going, you've got to be you and you've got to be real, and then people will do business with who they know, like, and trust. Okay, so that's kind of where we kind of come from. So let's kick it up. But let's have a little background of Julia, because I feel like we need to know a little bit about Julia.
Yeah, I have a network marketing business as well. I do doTERRA essential oils.
Great. So you're
I have been doing it. Yeah, so I have been doing it for 3 years now, and I don't see any results. Online it doesn't really work for me. So sometimes I really ask myself, why do I do this?
Yeah.
Why are people following me? What's the reason why are they following me? Because there's no interaction in stickers or anything like that. I think that I'm doing it right, but probably there are some things I might learn today. So yeah, 100%. I'm completely stuck at the moment, so I don't do much at the moment.
Yeah, Julie, you're in the right place. And we train, just so you know, kind of a background. So Kimmy Bliss-Brooke, if you know Kimmy Bliss-Brooke and Richard Brooke, she reached out to us and asked us to train her Young Living team. So we did, and it was the same thing. It's like everyone's like, okay, I'm posting all these posts that are taking me forever to post, but there's no difference. Like, I'm not selling anything. This is just stupid. I'd rather just turn my phone.
So now I'm not posting anymore because I don't know what to post. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm completely blocked, with also what can I post or getting ideas and all these kind of things as well. So
yeah,
I do more stories at the moment, but completely blocked us.
We can definitely help.
Yeah.
Very excited. Not optimized for you, but all right. So guys, we got a beautiful PowerPoint.
It's
not going to be death by PowerPoint, but we have a PowerPoint. So it's really Stop at any time, by all means, but we're just going to work through step by step. And if there's anything that you don't understand, as I said, put your hand up, because you're here to learn. Obviously, for those watching the recording, we're not going to be able to get in and answer the questions, but we just want to let you know as well, after this workshop, please shoot us questions that you
we're
may
here
have.
for you anytime.
We can help. You know, that's our goal, because we don't want you to go through the pain for another 10 years, like some people have, or 2 years or 3 years, like we did. So first and foremost, Instagram. Are you following Instagram? There's about 2 or 3 different accounts that Instagram actually have. And at the end of this presentation, we will introduce you to the other accounts. But please make sure you're following Instagram, because you're on this platform and a lot of updates, a lot of information, a lot of news actually comes from this very place. And that reminds me of one very important thing as well. What you're going to learn right now in this workshop is going to introduce or open Pandora's box, in a sense, to the fact that you have to be a student of social media. You can't expect to do a workshop like this and go, okay, I'm good to go now for the next 2 years, because it is ever evolving. And even at the point of us presenting this to you, things have probably already changed. And you probably noticed that more than ever in Instagram, videos disappeared, reels got longer, this has happened, you know, icons are in different spots, and it's just like doing your head in. So just ask yourself, or tell yourself, in fact, that I'm a student now. I'm ever going to be learning the same way our industries are evolving. You can't just expect to come in, get a blueprint and be good to go. Disclaimer, first and foremost, results may vary. We can't come with any guarantees, guys. You know that.
We wish we could.
We wish we could, but for some, it'll happen quicker, others a lot longer. But, you know, I want to plant a seed in your head right now and just say this one thing. Most of you aren't getting the results because you're not doing it consistently enough over a long enough period of time. I like to work off, very much like our industry, 90 days. Like our seasons in the year, it's uncanny. Everything operates off 90 days. But if you really, really, really put your hand down, or head down, sorry, and focused on posting content consistently for 90 days, I can almost guarantee you none of you have. All right. So just take that on board, be happy about that, because it's just going to help you understand why you maybe not getting the results that you are. You're probably following us already. Now, a lot of you we already saw are going to be on this call. So normally when you follow us, we would actually have sent you a message, but we didn't want to confuse you by sending you a message, because you would have been like, well, why are you sending that message asking us about this, that, the other, when you know that I'm actually in the industry and all that sort of stuff. But general rule of thumb, which we'll teach you, is that we actually respond to every single follower that we have. We introduce ourselves.
And this is gold, guys. This is like probably the #1 thing if you're not doing this to change immediately.
Yeah.
So why do we do that? Can I go into this? It's
Yeah,
really passionate about it. So literally every single person that follows us, we send a follow. Now, did you know about, we're going to go into it later, but there's a thing called saved reply, where you basically just write follow, and then up pops the auto populates the message. So it's not a bot. You don't want a bot, because it's really awkward. You know, when you send someone a message and suddenly you get this bot that just goes, thank you for following. It's just like you're obviously a bot.
And we want to get out of copy and pasting, because if you copy and paste, the platform knows that you're copy and pasting, and after 10 times doing it consistently, it will just shut you down. So you don't want to show up like that. So use the tools that Instagram
Yeah, so
have.
it's in Instagram. Do you all know? Can you just by raise hands? Have you seen the save reply? Do you know about that at all? Okay, we'll go to it later, but it's basically you'll follow me. I'll basically write follow, and up pops this auto population of thank you so much for following, blah 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 blah. Now what this does is it makes you have that amazing interaction straight away of, you know, hi Tanya, thank you so much for following. I hope you enjoy the content as much as I enjoy creating it. You know, what brings you here? Are you here for fun, or are you here to hear about my amazing skin? So that's me, because, and we'll get to that. I'm obviously doing it wrong. No, Andrew loves it. It's still good. No, but it's good, because that then makes you, I have people go to me, oh my gosh, do you thank everybody for following you? And I'm like, yes, because I want to build a relationship with them, right? Because from that one connection to Tanya, I then can check out Tanya's profile. I can say, oh my gosh, your kids are so adorable. And I've started a relationship, which then I can say, tell me a bit about yourself. Whereas if you just don't react, they're following you for a reason. You're not, even if they're in doTERRA or they're in Arbon or whatever, it doesn't matter. Hey, great to have you here. You don't then need to continue that relationship, because that's not obviously, you know, what you're going for, but you can still from that moment find out, is Julia my ideal client? Is she someone I want to connect with? And that's just like gold. And you're also making Julie feel really special for following you, right? Because she now feels like she's heard. She's like, thank you so much. That's lovely.
And
anyway, we will get to that.
On a more technical note, guys, we've got to understand the algorithm a little bit. So in you doing that, you're actually forming a link between your accounts. And then when they reply back, even with a comment or a like, they don't actually have to comment. It means anything that you post will show up on their timeline. It will be prioritized. And that's where people are not understanding the importance of doing these simple, small steps where they're not seeing results. It actually means when tomorrow you post a reel or some content, that person who has liked your follow, would you just do?
I'm just putting the girls in the center because I feel like I can't see.
Does everyone understand that? Because I think we all get a little bit caught up with this thing, the algorithm. No one's ever going to meet the algorithm, guys, unless maybe when we die. God, I think, is the algorithm because we talk about him so much. But you've just got to think about how many touch points can I actually get that will actually bring, and you can actually experiment this with yourself when you start. And this is why we're not big fans of, you know, I know it's important in our industry to hara each other, but they're already in the business. And when you keep on commenting on each other's posts, don't be surprised that on whether it's Facebook or any platform,
all you see is their posts.
You're only going to see their posts, team members' posts. And you've got to start doing that with complete strangers and other people. But anyway, that's a big, long topic. So many of you will notice, guys, already. Do you want to go?
No, I'm saying this will be quick because you all probably know this. So we're just going to quickly run through just so again, you can go tick, tick, tick. But if there is something, for example, Julia, that you're like, oh, I didn't know that, like, put it in the chat. Like we're right here. But just we're presuming you know this. OK, so we're just going to go through really quickly so you can just tick it off. So
right at the top, we won't talk about the time, the battery life, or whether I'm on 4G or 5G, but we'll move straight down to username. So Tamdrewsocial is a username, or some people call it a handle. So if anybody says, what's your Instagram handle? That's what it is. You've also got the notification tab, which is that little alarm bell there. And what you can do, this is really, really important, when you go into accounts that you want to follow, because we're following so many people, right? But if you want to be notified of an account when they post a live, when they post a new post, you know, you want to follow their stuff, go into their account and then click that little bell. And you can choose, you know, whenever they do a live, I want to be notified. Whenever they do a post, I want to be notified. So that's really, really important. A lot of people don't know that. And then right next door to that is your settings tab. And I'm actually looking at my account from a viewer as opposed to my own. So on your own account, where that little bell is, there will most likely be a plus symbol, and that will give you access into anything that you need to do on your account. Are you all following along there? I just realized I confused some people. The ... is the settings, or on your profile, if you're looking at your own, that will be line. Okay, and we call that the hamburger. And that's, you've all probably accessed that already, but you've got to ask yourself, have I played around in there? Because most of our learning has come from just pushing all of the buttons and not worrying about what's going to happen. I think people can be quite fearful that if they push something, something's going to happen. But please go in there. And if you were sitting side by side and looking at the settings tab in each of your accounts, things will be positioned differently. The reason for that is that you may have started your account at a later date. Remember, there are billions upon billions of users. And for that matter, I'll mention that when new features are rolled out, but your friend has got that feature, but you haven't, it's nothing against you. It's just purely about the rollout. Like when you're rolling out new software in a program, it just takes time to arrive in different accounts, and there's so many variables involved. So just be patient and know that it'll eventually happen on your account. It just takes time. You just can't predict it. Okay, the next line, you got your wonderful picture, which we're going to talk about, guys. This is probably the most important feature of your account, your profile picture, and you've always got to make sure you've got that beautiful colored ring around it, but we'll go into more details there. Then you got the number of posts. So you can see since the creation of this account, we have posted 1,074 times. All right, that's all that means. Then the next tab is followers. The next tab after that is follow in, and you never really want to have your following higher than your followers. And I want to just debunk a myth and an old style way of thinking with Instagram especially, is that the follow for follow works. So if you want to increase your followers, that you have to follow people and they'll follow you back. That just simply isn't the case. So don't do that. Don't fall for that trap.
Don't buy any following.
And guys, if you do have more following than you do followers, don't go into that mode of unfollowing people. Just don't worry about it. Just learn moving forward.
But my advice with that is unfollow because if you're following a lot of people, you'll see on your feed, it's a lot of people you really have no interest in. So when you're on your feed and you're seeing like random people who you're like, I have no interest in what they're talking about, just quickly unfollow. So it's not like you're spending loads of time doing it, but just be aware when you're on your feed, is this someone I want to follow, whether they're inspirational network marketing or whether they're an ideal client, like they're the kind of people, or a family member, whatever, that you'll be happy to see them. As soon as you find someone you're like, just quickly unfollow, and you'll stop seeing that madness, and then you'll start seeing people, because you don't want to spend half an hour scrolling on people that you literally have no interest in whatsoever, and they're not ever going to be ideal for you. So just delete that way instead of panicking about it.
Yep. And the beautiful thing is that you can actually go into other people's accounts and click the followers and following and actually find out who they're following. There's nothing that's not available for you to see. Do you know what I mean? But the beautiful thing about followers as well, and remember we said to you guys that we send a message to every person that follows us, and you probably think in your head, well, how do you keep track of that? Well, at the end of the day, we just make sure we spend 5 minutes and go to our followers tab, and it will actually show you in order of the last person that's followed you, who's followed you. So don't worry about, oh, I just had a reel that's gone a little bit viral for me and I've got lots of new followers. I don't have time to, message them all at once. Know that they will always be in the order that they would last followed you when you click that followers tab. So it's really handy. Then you've got your bio, guys. And of course, we only have 150 characters. Be grateful for this, okay? Because we all like to talk about ourselves and we all have too much fluff in our lives. And at the end of the day, we just don't have, there's so much distraction in the world right now. We don't have time to fluff about. We got to tell people exactly what we're about so that when they come to your profile, they're going to go, it's a fit or it's not a fit. Otherwise, they're going to move on, okay? So 150 characters, I know we get frustrated, but just be grateful. It's like, wow, thank you, Instagram, for making me talk briefly and get to the point. Then you have space for your link, which should only be one link, and that's it, never more. A lot of you already see a user link tree, which is fantastic. And then you have generally I'm looking at, if I was a viewer on my account right now, so when you're looking at yours right now, it'll look a little bit different, but it's like you'll have your edit profile feature, your tools, your insights, your contact, add shop features right there. And then that next wonderful line is the highlights tab. Now, the highlights tab essentially is a collection of stories that you've posted. All right. So as we all know, stories disappear after 24 hours. You can group, a key topic that you want people to have quick access to from those stories, and you can make a nice, beautiful display. But please don't spend too much time on the highlights. You'd be surprised at how few people actually click this. It's kind of that whole damned if you do, damned if you don't, because it looks good on your profile. So I would invest the time in setting them up correctly, okay? But don't spend too much time on it. Just have them there, have them make sense. And remember, your highlights, guys, you can share a link to one of your highlights directly to a message. So say you want to talk about the 30 days, in our particular case in Arbonne, and maybe you have a highlight reel with 30 days, you can actually go to your own highlight, go to the ... in the corner and copy a link and send that as a DM. And that's going to fast track any information that you want to provide people. So can be a very, very handy tool. Plus you can embed the links to your highlight into your link tree, which I think is a really
so let's say
way.
if you wanted derm results, you could put a derm results highlights with all things like derm results, and then you can have that link to the highlights in the link tree.
Is everyone
does that
following?
make sense, or does that just go over your head?
Yeah.
We can go over it again. Yeah, we can go over it again.
And then that next line is, these are your quick access tabs to places on your main feed. So obviously the Rubik's Cube sort of looking thing that will get you to your main feed. Then you've got your Reels tab, and they're the Reels. I've got makeup on.
Looks like you've got full makeup.
No, I haven't got makeup on. And then you've got the Reels tab, which is for your Reels that you've created or any video content. It's all there. Then you've got the guides button. And if you don't have guides, guys, it's just purely because you haven't set up guides yet. All right. So everyone is able to set up guides. But here's the difference. Your highlights collect your stories. Your guides collect your content on your feed. So you can put together lots of the same sort of posts that you've already posted over a period of time on your feed, and you can put them in a collection as a guide. And again, you can share that as a link whatever you want. And then that final one there with that little person, that when you click on that, it's just every single bit of content that you've been tagged in. Now, very important thing to pay attention to, which you probably noticed, guys, is that your videos that you may have uploaded have merged together with Reels. Have you all noticed that? So that's happened in the last probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks. We no longer have Instagram video. Everything to do with short form video or anything will appear in the Reels tab. Do you know that?
But it won't get the reach of a Reel. So because you've done it as a video, you'll probably see that the Reel has like 64 views or 102 views. It'll be like really low views of the video, but don't worry about that. It's just that it never was pushed as a Reel. It was never a Reel, so Instagram never pushed it, and it just looks like a Reel now. And
don't worry about deleting that as well. Just moving forward, just so you know where things have gone. And then finally, guys, on that bottom tab, we've got the kennel looking thing. That's your home tab. You've got the magnifying glass, which you all know is the explore page. Then you've got another Reels button, and that's Reels for everywhere. That's what you do at night with a glass of wine, and you spend about 2 hours wondering where you've been. Okay, it's because you pressed that button. And then you've got the little shopping icon. So a lot of people are shopping through Instagram right now, and it will collect any data that you may be interested in. If you were to click on your own shopping tab, it would probably show things that you've shown interest in and try to sell them to you. And then, of course, the bottom right is a little mini picture of either your own account, or you can link up to 7 other accounts. So you could manage 7 other accounts, and if you quickly tapped on that, it would pop up, and you could quick access all those other accounts quickly. All right, you all following along? Yep, perfect. All right, so really, really important, guys, and this is an old image on the left, so I do apologize, but I wanted to keep it there for a reason, to show you how. See that little triangle in the middle of the screen on the left? See that little video play button? That no longer exists on Instagram at all. And where we would normally see the circled icons, you'd see the ones at the bottom in the middle. They will no longer exist. You'll only have your the top circle icon and your Reels one that will differentiate what things are on the feed. But essentially, we just want to teach you what.
Can I talk about this?
Yeah, of course you can.
And I'm really passionate about this. So there's obviously many different things you can post on your feed. So you just need to make sure you know what they are. So as we know, single static pictures, Instagram is not pushing any single static pictures at all. So it's not saying you don't post them. Let's just be clear on this. It's not saying you can never post a single picture again. It's just saying be careful why you're posting it, because the only people that are seeing it are a miniature version of your followers. Instagram's not going to help it go somewhere else. So if it is a picture, why not just make it into a Reel with a few different pictures or something and post it that way? It's exactly the same. It still posts on your feed, but you're giving yourself a chance. You're giving Instagram a chance to help you out. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with posting it, but you can notice when you post it, a static or single picture, you'll probably have 5 likes and 2 comments. Like that's the kind of reality of what that is going to give you. So great, but is it really what you want? Is that why we're posting right on there? Carousels, now these, they're not dead, but they're not also being pushed, but they're being pushed more than a static single picture. So let's say, for example, you have up to 10 photos. Do you all know what a carousel is? Yeah, so up to 10 photos. Now the thing about the carousel is you don't just put 10 photos. The sexy thing about it is you actually have a hook at the beginning, then you have the photos, then you have a call to action at the end. That is what makes a carousel good. So can you see here on our page, we've got the 3rd picture across. It says tips to starting your day the right way. Okay, so that is a hook. It's telling you to swipe, telling you to have a look at my carousel. So then we do the tips, drink water or whatever, exercise. And then at the last page, can't remember what the call to action was, but the last page is something like, do you agree with these? Comment below or share if you like this page. So it's making that carousel really engaging, because the idea of Instagram is so that you have engagement on your posts. So if you tell me, like, people are really silly, right? So if you don't say anything, they just look. But if you tell them, drop a love heart below, I'm going to drop a love heart below because you just told me to drop a love heart below. So I go, okay, Tanya says drop a love heart, so I'm dropping a love heart. So then Instagram goes, oh, hold on, 50 people loved Tanya's post. I'm now going to push that post to another 10,000 people to see if they like the post, because if you have no love hearts, Instagram goes dead post. So the whole point of engagement is you need to kind of create it yourself a little bit. So really now every single post that we put has a call to action in some way, shape or form, even if it's drop an emoji to tell us you agree, even if it's that, we always ask something. So that's just kind of giving you an example there of the carousel. But Reels is where it's at. Reels has not gone anywhere. It's still just growing from strength to strength to strength. And that is what's pushing it. And they're loving original content, which is good for us guys, because we can actually do original content, but just put some trending music behind it. Because that's what Instagram's going to push, some trending music, but you with your original content. So we will talk about that later, but that to me is knowing, as long as you leave here knowing how to create your own video, putting it as a reel, but also putting trending music behind it. Is there anyone that struggles with that, or have you kind of all got that down? Because that to me would be for you to leave knowing exactly how to do all that stuff as well.
And guys, at the end of the day, there's two things that Instagram will reward you. And unlike any sort of app out there, you've got to ask yourself the question, what does the app want to achieve? Instagram wants its users to be on the app as long as possible. All right, that's the goal of Instagram. So if you're creating engaging content that people are engaging on, you're telling the algorithm that this content is keeping other people on, and they'll keep pushing it to more people. Does that make sense? And I think when you take away everything else that you know about Instagram and just know that that's the main focus and goal of Instagram, it makes complete sense why you know, maybe some accounts are doing better, because not only are they showing up daily and consistent, which is another thing that the algorithm is rewarding, but they're posting content that is engaging the audience and keeping them on the app longer. Because when they're on the app longer, what does Instagram get to do? They get to advertise and share other stuff with them. Yeah. So it's really important to know, guys. All right. So your profile picture. And I did touch on this very, very lightly at the beginning. Just saying that it's the most important thing you can do, because that's your first impression, or the first impression people have of you. And people make up their mind just as you do when you walk into the supermarket and accidentally bump into that strange man with a bunch of bananas. You make an opinion of them straight away. Okay, you size up, you know, without any words exchanged, whether that's somebody you want to talk to. That's the reference I was making. But at the end of the day, I want to just really lightly touch on this word omnipresence as well, because wherever you show up on social media, you should be consistent on all platforms. I'm not telling you if you don't have a TikTok account to get a TikTok account. I'm not telling you if you don't have a YouTube to get a YouTube. Same with Facebook as well. But most of us, I'd say, on this call are on Instagram and Facebook. So make sure if you're running a business that you show up exactly the same, because you don't know where your audience is going to come from or where you're going to direct them to. But if you look differently on these platforms, you're upsetting people because you're confusing them. And people don't like to be confused, because life is confusing enough as it is. So you'll notice on our Instagram, Tamdrewsocial account, same picture. On our TikTok, same picture. On our YouTube, same picture. And on our business page, same picture. And while I'm on that topic with business pages and our industry, if you don't have a business page, please don't worry about it too much, unless you're planning on paying for Facebook to boost your posts. It might be important to some, but we've gone for many years. We
got rid of our album one.
We got rid of the one because we reminded ourselves that we're a belly to belly relationship building business. And
VIP Facebook groups are way more stronger than a business page.
But you'll notice our profile picture is the same. It's clean, it's fresh. You can see us, you can see who we are. Obviously, we're two people running these accounts. And then if you look at Tamlyn's profile image there on the left, of course, only Tamlyn can get away with a picture like that. You don't need a professional pic, but she pulls it off. But I want to talk about omnipresence. And I just want to also touch on the fact that whether you're not on TikTok or YouTube, you just because you use Instagram only doesn't mean that your audience, they're not going to come from TikTok or YouTube. So don't discount these. But we've been 10 years using social media platforms, and we've layered. Okay, so if you got off this call and try to now create all of these accounts, you'd simply overwhelm yourself. So master one account, build on another, then build on another. But one thing you'll notice, guys, is that we're not creating new content for all of these platforms. We're creating our content most of the time on Instagram, and then we're just posting that same content every day on all these platforms. So don't think it's a new platform, I have to come up with new content. We're being consistent on all, and we're attracting a much larger audience because of that. Did you know that YouTube have short form video now as well in the form of shorts? Did you know that? Yeah, and there you go. So they started doing that probably about 6 months ago. But just to give you a backstory, Snapchat was the original, right? Snapchat was the original short form video. We know that that is very heavily gender fluid in a sense of our age group. I'm looking at everyone on the call is probably like Snapchat. I don't know. But TikTok copied Snapchat, and all they are, guys, is editing apps. They're video editing apps. TikTok copied Snapchat. And then Instagram jumped in the game and said, well, TikTok are going off. Let's create our own version of TikTok and Snapchat. Let's call it Reels. All right. And then YouTube went, oh, we can't miss out on this. And YouTube, might I add, is still the biggest of all of these platforms. We can't miss out on this. So let's create shorts. It's the same thing. And then finally, Facebook jumped on the bandwagon. But Facebook's Reels operate very clunky. You might have noticed they're not as easy to use, but their
still worth
editing app will grow over time. Does that all make sense to you? Because now you have a bit of an idea where all of this comes from. All right, so let's look at your profile pictures. And you gave us permission, very reluctantly, might I add, to tell you what we think about your profile pictures. And we just wanted you to take this on board because it's going to help you show up as your best self moving forward. So we started with Tamlyn, which is fantastic. Do you want to talk about Andrea?
I just think color, Andrea. I actually think your picture is stunning. And look, we're just giving advice. You don't have to change anything you want. We're just coming from a really open place. But you're a very bright personality. You're a very bubbly person. You're lovely. Like, I just think black and white sometimes makes it look too modelly. Like if you were a model, it would be a different situation. But I think warmth is really good in Arbonne. We need warmth. We need love. We need fun. We need that kind of, relationship building person. So I would be putting either a color pop behind it, like mine, just some color behind it, or actually just having that picture in color. But a color pop behind it, because you can do that, we'll show you how. Well, you could keep the same picture.
I still think color.
Well, if she doesn't have it, I mean, it might be a black and white picture.
You might have to find another picture because,
But color is important.
Andrea, you're trying to speak? Oh, no.
Just come off mute.
It's actually a color picture. I just made it black and white, so hopefully I still have it and I'll switch it back.
Perfect.
Yeah, switch it back. And look, we'll show you the app. Do you know the app? We'll show the app anyway in a minute. That can make it like mine.
And remember, guys, you had the recording, so don't frantically try to change things now because you'll make mistakes. Just take this content in and then you can go and do your own homework and highlight. So that's what we want to talk about yours, Andrea. But otherwise, I just want to mention, you can see your full face, which is brilliant.
Your eye contact's nice.
You've got eye contact and your shoulders. This is an example of a perfect sized picture. Okay, I love it. Just got to change it to color. And that brings us to Carly Hollins. So basically, great picture. I love the picture, but Carly, I know you're watching the recording. You need to zoom it in. You need a picture which is more like Andrea's, because we're going to share with you on the next slide. When you're DMing people, they're only seeing a pea size of you, so they're really not able to connect with your face.
See, I think this picture is a very cover profile kind of picture. Like it's kind of showing you that your health and wellness, but it's more a cover profile kind of picture than it is an actual headshot.
But otherwise great, but we just need to see your face. So zoom it in, bring your shoulders and your face. Now, Tanya, you know what I'm going to say about your one. The sunflower is bigger than your face, okay? So this would be perfect. Hey?
Isn't that awesome?
It's a beautiful picture. And I get the messaging you're trying to say.
It is an awesome picture, but it's not a good profile picture.
This would be a great picture if you were somebody who was a green thumb, you were a gardener, and you specialize in sunflowers. Really, that's what we're saying. So you need to find a picture that shows.
But you probably have one, Tan. You've got stunning headshots. You probably have a beautiful headshot you can use.
Yeah, I do, and it had the proper color behind it, but my hair's so different now, so I felt like I had to change it, so that's why I changed it.
You know what though, girls, seriously, the iPhones are such good quality now. As long as you're like yes, we would love professional photos. The reality is just make yourself look pretty when you're going out one night, or just get yourself showered, get your hair done, and just get someone with lighting, you know, good natural light. Like that picture of us, me and Andrew in the corner, is literally, it's taken from a reel. It's taken from a reel. So it's just one that captures you and your bubbly personality, and the same thing. Like, but that definitely is not a good profile picture for what you're creating.
What a great example.
Julia, is this you here? Okay, sunglasses just need to go, right? Sunglasses just hide your eyes. Like if I was training you right now in sunglasses, it's like lack of trust. So, and this is a fact thing that we've learned from our social media trainings, right? Is the same thing. If you had like a hat on, a hat's also the same, Tanya. Like a hat just takes away that rawness of this is me, this is who you're finding. So I actually love the picture. That the face is beautiful. I like the picture. Your head's perfectly close enough.
It's a little bit of shadow.
It's a little bit of shadow, but it's just wrong. It's just the sunglasses is just wrong. So the same thing, you just want to,
guys, remember, you've got no time at all to connect with your audience, so show them all of you. All right.
But I don't dislike the beach. Like if that is you, if you're, you know, especially being doTERRA, if you're very natural and it's very, you know, beachy kind of, like I like that. And the same even with you, Tan. If you were in the grass, if you were in the sunflower field, but your face was perfect at the front, it wouldn't be offensive. It's that and as well with the sunflowers, just bring this cucumber into it, you're kind of covering yourself, which it also shows that lack of trust. Do you know what I mean? Because
are you wearing clothes?
It's like you're hiding something, and that's just it's all in your subconscious. It's nothing.
What sort of profile account are you promoting? OnlyFans Club. All right, so moving on. We're having fun here, guys. Who's this next?
Is that Renee?
If that's Renee. Beautiful picture, but it fits in the same category as Carly. It's just, we love the shot. We love everything about it. It's color, it's gorgeous, but let's just zoom in and get your shoulders and your face and connect with the audience, because when that's really small in your DMs, you really can't connect with you.
And the reason we're talking about DMs, guys, is when you start messaging people like we are doing in network marketing, right? And okay, I'm just going to talk about the next slide. Let's go to the next person. Whose is this picture?
Somebody that was at the bounce.
That'll be Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki.
So it's Nikki's. Yeah.
It's the same again.
Same thing. It's just showing. It's just not a good profile picture. So we just need a full face. We need that. I
wouldn't recognize you in the street.
No. Yeah. Obviously we know you, but we didn't recognize it was you. So it's that kind of like it's massively just needs to have that full headshot. And, you know, help each other out. Seriously, just get some good lighting, get your kids to take it. It doesn't matter. It's just actually being aware. And I would actually, if we have to teach you on it, I would act on this pretty pronto. It's pretty important. It's probably one of the most important things on. And when you change it on your Instagram, you're happy with it, make sure you change it so it's the same on all other accounts that you actually manage as well. All right, so this is what Tamlyn's talking about. You can talk about so look here on the side. You can see Kimmy Blissbrook. Look, she's obviously we had a workshop with her there. You can see that she's changed her picture and she's put the pop behind it. Now, can you see how the 1, 2, and 3 really stand out? But the others, so look at Mel Sunshine Coast mom at the bottom. You don't know who she is, right? You can see at the bottom her. She's not coached by us. She's just a friend. But that is not a good profile picture because you can't see her face. But if you look at my profile picture in the DMs, so if I did DM you, right? If I did DM you and go, hey, Julia, like, you know, just whatever, so great connecting the other day, you're going to look at my picture and you're going to go, wow, that's someone I want to talk to. Well, maybe not, that's in my head. But, you know, you're going to see that and it's going to draw attention. It's going to draw attention to, oh, who is that that's messaged me? Right, because it's got pink, it's bright, I'm alive. And especially in our line of industry, guys, you've just got to give yourself the best possible chance to capture people's attention. So by all means, this isn't, you know, you have to do this. These are just things that's just going to dramatically help you stand out amongst the crowd of, you know, hundreds of messages that people are getting on a constant daily basis. So even when we look down our messages here in Karina, I don't even know who Karina is. Does anyone know Karina? Is she any of us? I don't know. Anyway, you can see she's really pretty, but it's not a good picture. Her hair's all in her face. The background's a bit random. Like, it's just not a great picture of what she could look like. As you could see, she's really pretty. So it's just helping yourselves and it's just helping it be really poppy. So it's all about popping. Is your profile picture pop? So This is the app, guys. So Andrea, this is the app that we were just talking about. So Photo Room is the app. What it does is you upload your picture.
You don't have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay, it's free. And listen, I am like professional at this. So if anyone's struggling, send me the picture you want and I will send it straight back within 2 seconds. Like I can do it really quick. I did it for all of Kimmy Brooks' girls because they were all like, help. And I went, just send me the picture you want and what's your favorite color? And off we go, I'll sort it. Because you can also have, as you can see, Kimmy Brooke, her head is it's in the circle. Can you see? Her color goes around her head. And my head pops out of the circle. Can you see the difference? So mine's coming out the top and she wanted hers to stay in. So you can play around. You can move the head around in the picture once you've chosen your background. My background too, so you can see it's got like a white line around my body. Hers doesn't. Hers just has color straight on picture. There's loads of different things, but this is the app. Choose your picture. Pop it in. What it does, so even with you, Juliet, what it would do is it would delete your entire background and it would just leave you with just your hair and your, obviously that's not the picture you're going to use, but it would take away the beach if that's what you wanted, because what's going to give you is the pop. So even if you've got a really good headshot, Tanya, and you're in your kitchen, you're like, oh, I wish I could use that, but I've got the kitchen in the back, it deletes the kitchen. That's the whole good thing about the app. It deletes all the background if you want it to be deleted, and then you choose your color that goes behind it. So there's some pictures work, some pictures don't. So some pictures can delete too much of your hair that you look funny, but have a try with that. And if you do need help, let me know. I don't mind helping you at all.
And just remember, guys, it will ask you to pay. You don't have to pay. But if you don't pay, when you create and upload your image that you're happy with, it will have in the bottom right-hand corner photo room. It'll have its own watermark. Just make sure you edit that out because you don't want to upload with the watermark. It looks really bad.
Yeah, and you literally just go into your photos and just crop it tiny bit just to take off the thing.
All right, so we're going to look at your bios. And again, thank you for letting us be open and honest. And we're going to highlight a few things that you're doing right and a few things that you're most likely doing wrong. But as I say, guys, you're here to learn and grow. You're not here to stay exactly as you are. We want different results for you. So we've already spoken about the profile pictures. You can see in looking at that, only 2, Carly and Renee's, have a ring around them. That's because they posted stories in the last 24 hours, okay? Especially in our line of industry, you want to make sure you're posting stories and that ring is always shown because that adds another level of color to your profile. And unfortunately, in the world that we're living right now, if you don't have a ring around there, you're denying people to get to know you a little bit better. They're pissed off, you know, they've seen your profile. And in some cases, even with businesses that we work with, people can perceive that as you're not open today. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is how we operate. So it's just showing that you're awake, you're alive, you're present, you're current, you're around. So we'll quickly go through from top left all the way across to bottom. And one very clear thing I want to mention here is on your bio, and I'm going to point you out on this, Andrea, is that I can only, even though everything in your bio is searchable now, we used to think it was only our username or our name, the one directly underneath our picture. Everything on your bio is searchable. So when people go into that little magnifying glass in Instagram and type keywords, your account could show up just from some of the keywords that you have in your bio. But I would say most importantly for yours, Andrea, your name is Healthy Happy Mompreneur. That's quite a mouthful. Okay, I love it. Okay, but it's quite a mouthful. And in your name, you don't have your name. You only have your name on the line content of your bio. So, and you're repeating yourself. You're Healthy Happy Mompreneur and Health Online Business. It's kind of the same thing that you're talking about.
Can I just talk about that?
Yeah, of course you can.
So the username and the name, they should definitely not be the same. So some of you have got it and some of you haven't, but your name needs to be there somewhere. So, you know, my recommendation, Andrea, would be at Andrea, like at your actual name, and then your actual, where you've got Health Online Business, you could put about your Health Online Business. I don't know. How do you?
Because at the end of the day, when you bump into people and meet people, right, and they're looking for you, they're not going to know to type in Healthy Happy Mompreneur. They're going to be typing in Andrea. Or
and you're not going to come up anywhere. Yeah. So what you could do, if you wanted to keep at Healthy Happy Mompreneur, you would need to change where it says Health Online Business to your actual name.
Your actual name.
That's another way around it, which is totally fine too. But you have to have it one of them.
Don't change it right now, because there are limitations on how many times you can actually do that when we're talking about this key thing. I want to jump quickly to the bottom right, be your own beautiful. And Nikki, all I want to say here is great that you have your name underneath your profile picture, but can you imagine trying to explain to somebody your handle, your Instagram handle? Yeah, just type in B_you_are_own_beautiful. People wouldn't, okay? So these sort of examples, I know your intention is beautiful, I get it, but it's just, we got to make it so easy. Like Tanya's is great, Carly's is great, Renee's My Way.
We actually personally like that your username should be your name. We personally like it. We just think that
we're in the business of selling ourselves, even though we're attached.
It doesn't need to be strange. Even though we're all trying to be different, it doesn't need to be. Like, yeah, same thing with Julia. I just wouldn't be able to find you if I was trying to tag you in something. Like, let's say we did this coaching call and I didn't know.
You might find it with a name, actually.
You've still not got her surname in though.
Yeah, surname's important.
So I actually just wouldn't be able to find you. I wouldn't know what you were, so I wouldn't be able to tag you unless I messaged Andrea and said, what's the full name? Do you see what I mean? So we've just got to start being clever on, is it there somewhere? So if you want Oil Amazing Life, you need to then have your full name in the name. You can still have Essential Oil Coach in there, but just adding your name. So it's just all about searching. And if we put Carly Holland, she would pop up, but she'd pop up too much because she's used it twice. So that's called wasted real estate. So Tanya's actually kind of the closest, as you've got your username and then health, wellness, business coach. So that's correct, because if you had Tanya Sabaden, it's wasted real estate. You see what I mean? Because you've doubled up. So you don't need to have it twice, because, so for my personal account, it says at Tamlyn and Samuel is my username, and then your high energy fun fix. Because my strategy for me is I want to attract people who are fun, who are high energy, who are alive, who are dynamic, and then people fall in love with me, and then they go, what is it that you actually do? So that's been my strategy, because I think sometimes when you're too Arbonne or too doTERRA, and straight away you've already lost people, because you're not giving them a chance to find out about you.
Connect.
You're just putting and that's where a lot of people, like, Arbonne is not actually your brand. doTERRA is not actually your brand, Julia. You are your brand. So that is the thing. Like, people fall in love with me because of my brand that I'm creating, because of the fun I'm giving on social media, because of the value I'm adding in comedy. But then Arbonne is a part of me, so I sell in my stories and I do a random reel about it, but I'm not doing a reel about it every single day, and this is where we got a disclaimer, because, you'll have people like Emma Fell or, those kind of who are so influential in who they are, and they're attracting only on social media the young, gorgeous, stunning millennials who want to work from home on their phone. But the reality is we're not those people. Sorry to tell you, okay?
So don't try to follow this strategy.
We're not those people, guys. And when I just posted Arbonne the whole time, it was like tumbleweed, crickets. So if you're not getting results, which is what we were saying to you, Julia, if you're not getting results by posting all the time about doTERRA, you need now to find what else is your passion alongside doTERRA. So there's a great girl I think she's called Living With, I'll find her. She's a young living girl, and she's all about showing people how to make the cleaners out of the oils, how to whatever, but she's got this following because every day she's showing the use of it somewhere in some way or other. But it's like amazing to see that it's not just like what we all get wrong in network marketing is we go, hello everyone, here's the fizz sticks. I'm going to have my fizz sticks today. Have a good day. Like, no one buys that. Who's going to message you and go, I need a fizz stick? Like, that's the reality. That's how crazy we are, guys. That's how crazy we are. And then we go, why are we not getting sales? Because it's madness. It's madness. And you're laughing because it's true.
You're laughing because it's true. And for some of you, you've been doing it for years and years and years. And guys, the reason why we can talk so straight shooting on this topic is because we were those people. We were posting for 6, 7, 8 years the same stuff with no results, when we were showing up loud and proud, because we are proud of the industries that we're a part of. But you've got to let people connect with you first before you can actually introduce them to what you have to offer. And even for Carly, like yours, for example, you've got Arbonne right in there. I mean,
yeah, that would scare me away that you've said it straight away. So
Yeah.
it's not about not being proud. Like, we are national vice presidents. We are so proud of this company. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to us, but it's not in our bio.
and people will
So
form an
it's-
opinion of you based on their own experience with somebody else in Arbonne.
Like, I actually like Tanya's. I think Tanya's pretty much like,
Yeah.
that is the closest for me out of everybody's here.
The only thing is
that
get rid of
Entrepreneur needs to go.
Mhm.
Entrepreneur just needs to be hidden.
We teach
So
you how
we'll
to
show
hide it.
you all how to do that. The same with yours, Julia. The product service needs to be hidden.
Change to
Andrea,
entrepreneur
yours needs to
and
be
then hidden.
hidden.
But with Julia's as well, you just got to be very careful, because if I were to come to your profile, straight away, all that's telling me is that you're going to try to sell me oils if I connect
Yeah.
with you. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's where we got to change it. It's in your username, it's in your name. So even though you empower mums and families by helping them with simple life changing, I just know for a fact that if I were to message you, you're going to come back and say, try these oils. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The same
You've
with
got
Carly?
to, you've got to try and add value before you want something from them. This is the thing.
And your one, and the same as when you put yourself down as Arbonne, you're competing against hundreds of thousands of other Arbonne consultants. So it's very difficult for you to stand out from the crowd as well. And this leads into this whole conversation about curiosity, and building relationships first before you actually go for the sale. You've got to actually add value to people. People need to come to your profile and say, wow, is there something about this person that they can actually teach me or provide me? Only then they're going to decide to follow. And then it's your job to connect with them and build that relationship. This is a big topic, guys. So I know a lot of you are like, oh, and this is the hardest part of your entire social media journey. If you don't spend time and get this right, and this can take time, but remember, you can change it until you're happy with it. And you want to date your bio for a while. We've changed ours probably about 15, 20 times.
So many times. We still change it.
You're not going to get this straight out of gate. This is a brainstorming thing that you need to do. But it's exciting because there's definitely room to grow.
And let me just, another thing. So Carly, on yours, can you see on Carly's, she's not offering any value. She's just basically saying, check me out, I'm amazing.
This is
so I'm a mum of two, I'm an EMVP, there you go, Carly, you're an ERVP, you're a personal trainer, you're a reform plans instructor, and you love fitness and food. So when I come to that page, I'm like, oh, that's nice for you.
But what about me?
What are you, why should I follow you? Like, what are you giving me? What a value you adding for me? Whereas when I look at Tanya's, I'm like, I teach men and women how to build a global online health and wellness. If I'm looking to be taught a global online health and wellness business that's in Australia, New Zealand, there's something about that I go, okay, then maybe I'll follow her, because although there's sunflowers, no, I'm joking, but maybe I'd follow her because that's kind of alongside what I'm looking for. Julia, in yours, I would definitely not have hashtags in your bio, because that's, you can have that somewhere else, but I wouldn't put it in your bio. You just, because natural solutions could be also well, because the whole of the bio is searchable, so you don't have to, it's not just a hashtag that's searchable. So even if you have, it's a bit cliche, and then you go hashtag life-changing, hashtag dream team. It's just like weird. You wouldn't actually say that in a conversation if we were having like a sentence of, you know, I help people online, I help people hashtag online build a business. Do you see what I mean? It just disjoints.
So
that.
remember, you've got the recording to go back, guys. I know we're jumping from each left, right, and all that. And normally when we work with people, it's one-on-one, we nut it out. But we have a template to follow, which we'll be talking about in this, which will follow you a structure, because there's certain things that you need to have in your bio. And you've got to understand, I say this all the time, you've got literally seconds to gain people's attention. And people read, as long as they're English speaking, they read from top to bottom. So if you don't tell people what you do or what you have to offer in that top line, they're not even going to get to the bottom line or the second line, the third line. They're already going to be tuned out and moving on to another page. But here to show you, these are some other network marketers that we actually trained. Now the top line, some of them were actually not doing too bad, but I want you to pay particular attention.
This is the Young Living girls.
Pay attention to their profile pictures, and in some cases their names. And see what we changed in the bottom line. And we're not saying the bottom is absolutely perfect, but it's following the formula of at least top to bottom lines, and giving people a call to action, what you want them to do. These days, you have to tell people what you want them to do. So let's look at Susan in the top left-hand corner. Now, guys, just a reminder, these are top leaders. So these are like in our industry, these are like MVPs for, I think is it
Not
Young,
all of them MVPs.
what is it,
Susan is.
Young Living?
Young Living.
Young
yeah.
Living. So if you look at the profile picture of Susan compared to the one at the bottom, do you see the difference? All of a sudden now she just pops out. We also encourage Susan to change her username because Susan is that Susan Shabo, whatever,
So,
808, just didn't make any sense. So she lives in Hawaii. That's what she chose. That's fine. And we also help them change their font. You can see Susan changed their font a little bit. She removed the entrepreneur in gray. And she's in that top sentence.
But just look at that. She's removed the entrepreneur and then she's put, I help women feel fabulous. Like, how much more empowering is that to see that first and not the entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's wasted time.
Wasted time. So you've already lost 3 seconds.
Yeah.
By that.
So she's, you know, put some keywords in there, and then she's given people a call to action, click and learn how. She's directed traffic to click the link. Most of you are not directing traffic. The girl named Brett, she's actually very entertaining. Her reels are actually fabulous. She changed her profile picture again. You know, she's not in a field anymore. You're looking directly at her. She hasn't really positioned that very well, but that doesn't matter. We got her name and we got a username, fine. In one sentence, she said exactly what she does, and then she's given a call to action.
But what I love about Brett, see, look at this. See, Brett is oils, but in there, her strategy around it is I help mums survive and navigate motherhood more easily. So it's like everything she talks about is mums and how you survive. But during that, she's using the oils. Do you see the difference? So you're attracting mums. So when you build a community of mums, and then they go, oh, what is that? And she goes, oh, I always diffuse this at night for my kids to make sure they're breathing easier. Well, of course, if Tanya's a mum and her kids have got breathing, she's like, oh, I want one of those. Whereas if you were like, okay, oils, come here for oils, it's just a different strategy. So that's what you've got to be careful of. If it's not working what you're doing, and that's what was happening with us, we went for humor. We went for what do we do most? We bring value to people. We bring fun to people. And that's what we do. That's not what you girls do, but it's what we do. So what else, what value can you add to the world and then still be part of Arbonne and doTERRA? Do you know what I mean? But not be all that. That's all you talk about.
And with Christine and Wellness with Colleen, they didn't really change much at all. I'm not saying that their profiles are correct, but they changed the profile picture, which had them stand out a little bit better.
No, is this new? Like, did you check now?
No, I haven't checked.
No, she hadn't changed it.
She hadn't changed it time, but focus more on Susan and the girl named Brett. Just to give you an idea. And guys, that leads us on to Tam's favorite topic about what we've been talking about. And look at the far picture on the left. This is of our Tamdrewsocial account. Now, our username is Tamdrewsocial, but then you've got that bringing the fun back into your socials is the name part. Okay, do you see the difference? Most of you have got your username and the name exactly the same thing. So do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I just think, like, let's brainstorm a little bit what it could be for you, because I think it's so important to, like I said, one of them has to be your name, non-negotiable. One of them has to be your name, because how am I going to find you if I meet you in a shop and you're like, my name's Andrea, and then we try and find each other again, and they're never going to type healthy, happy mum. They're just never going to type that unless you physically give it to them. And then if they lose it, they're going to go, I can't remember what that was. What was it that she said? Does anyone remember? And they're all like, nah. 2, you've lost it. So you're just making it harder for people to find you if your name isn't somewhere. So you get to choose. Is your name going to be at the username, which I kind of would recommend, but still, or your name. So for me, like I said, on mine, I've got Tamlyn and Samuel's my username, and then bringing the fun back in, what's it? Your high energy fun fix is my name. So just have a little think like what that could be, and just write in the chat or come off mute if you want to brainstorm it. We'd love to help. And that's where you can see too, and you see edit profile here. When you can see down where it says category entrepreneur, can you just check if you're all, do you all know how to check if you've got creator accounts?
We can move into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's where you would hide the entrepreneur there, where it says profile display category hidden. What's here?
It's the next slide.
I get excited.
Tamlyn always jumps ahead.
I do jump ahead. Is there anyone that would like to brainstorm the username or just talk through it before we move on?
I would like to change the entrepreneur, no, the product and service thing, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so we'll do that on the next slide.
This is how it works, guys.
Okay.
Do it now. So you go edit profile. go onto your account, edit profile, and then you'll see at the bottom here, it says profile information.
You might need to
You
scroll
might need
down.
to scroll to the next picture here.
You go to category.
Our category, yeah.
Yeah, now just change that to entrepreneur, Julia.
If you had, I think you had product.
You
and
had
service.
product service, just because you get more real music and things like that if you're an entrepreneur. And then as you can see, so you make sure that says entrepreneur, and then you go down to profile display at the bottom, and then you just click display category label off.
Because that category is more for Instagram stats than it is for
yours.
searchability, and it's just an extra sentence that people are going to get distracted with. Do you know?
You finding it, Julia?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I got it now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, Andrea?
I would, yeah, with mine, I really struggle. Like, so basically you're saying like, it's better to have my actual name, like Andrea Maertens, instead of Healthy
Yes.
Happy Mompreneur.
Yes.
Then
Can I just say one thing? And this is my honest opinion, okay? Healthy, happy mompreneur, even with your new username, I feel like you're going to sell me something. Even when you have entrepreneur in a name, it's just like anyone who clearly displays themselves as an entrepreneur is just going for sales. So I personally think you're not going to find many people with your name. I don't think. You might be able to find, actually typing out your name as a username would be great, and then have healthy, happy
Mompreneur, if that's what you want.
But mompreneur is not something that people would search. And I think it's almost a bit of a cliche now. It's like boss babes, you know, mompreneur. All these words are just like, oh, you're one of those.
And look, girls, this goes round in circles. You know, the amount of times that boss babe was the thing to put. Living your best life was the thing to put. We had a Facebook group called Living Your Best Life. So no one's saying you're doing anything wrong. It's just we've got to evolve. We've got to evolve with what. It's as if the world of Instagram now realize that there's lots of network marketers out there trying to sell network marketing products, right? So they kind of become, they don't want to be sold to, they want to be come into your community. And then from coming into your community, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Andrea?
how old I am?
Yeah.
52.
Right. So honestly, I'm not joking you. There is a massive network of over 50s that are looking to stay healthy. Like I immediately would go, you are massively missing the mark with over 50s, with menopause, with health and wellness, with living a healthy lifestyle at 50, over 50s. We can't talk about that because we're not over 50. But there is a massive market there for women who are like my mum upstairs right now is sweating. You know, still sweating, mummy? Yes. Like she's still sweating. She's clammy. None of us understand her. I'm like, why are you sweating? I don't know. She's got tissue. Because it's just when you get to an age, you have struggles that we don't understand. So I'm just giving you some ideas. And I get emotional about it because I'm like, you can help a massive network of people.
You've got to show up as a human being.
You've got to show up
first.
real first so people start loving you. But your reels can be more about that, you know, menopause or, you know, just I don't know, just healthy. You know, you don't have to be written off once you're a certain age. You actually can be really healthy and give top tips to people over 50. Yes, you're going to lose the 30s, whatever. But let's start just looking at what your niche maybe is, because unless you're mastering it with like I said, anyone that looks like MFL will join MFL, right? So we're not going to attract, I'm not going to even attract those people. We're not going to attract those people. They don't want us. We're too grannified. They want the supermodel bodies. They want the going to the gym every day. That's what they want. And that's who they're attracting. So we need to stop being those people on social media because we're not attracting them anyway. And we just don't attract anyone then. Whereas actually, if you go like healthy aging, Shah Blair is a beautiful one to follow. She's in Arbonne. She's got pure gray hair now. She's in Canada and she literally took her social media. She's like an influencer now. So I'll try and find her account. She's like healthy aging over 50 or something like that. But she's literally just got a community of what to wear when you're 50, what to put on your skin when you're 50, how, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a whole community of people that need direction. So I'm just throwing you a curveball there, Andrea, but I just think sometimes you just need to look into what you're good at and not with, it's kind of like a jack of all trade, masters of none, when we're just trying to throw the net out to everybody that could possibly use skincare.
But the less you can show up, like, I mean, yeah, we used to have living your best life, and the more you can show up like a human being, with all of us have something of value to offer. Okay, as more we can show up like that, and let people be attracted to your accounts by who you are and what you have to offer, instead of what product or service you have to offer, the more likely you're going to have people follow, the more likely you're going to have conversations.
All right, let me show you. Find her now. She's called her username is the Art of Healthy Aging, right? And her actual name there, you see, is Shah Blair. So if your username is something like hers, then your name needs to be your name. Do you see the difference? So it's Shah Blair, Art of Healthy Aging, with little underscores there. But her following is gone. She had no following, 0 following. And she's now on 135,000 followers. And everything she does is to do with, you know, just being over 50 and fabulous, sharing stuff that she loves, healthy aging secrets. But nothing there is saying she's an executive national vice president with Arbonne.
Yeah.
And I don't want you guys to get too caught up with the number of followers that people have as well, because the game's changed in Instagram, and Instagram, actually, the CEO actually had mentioned weeks ago, saying that they are focusing key attention to micro influencers. So that's people with smaller accounts. They're not giving as much energy and focus anymore to pushing content for people with large following. They want everyday people to be succeeding on Instagram. Otherwise, what's happening? People are going to lose interest and they'll get out of there, you know.
And if you click into her link tree, guys, look, so straight away her top one is my Etsy store, use code SHAH10 for 10% off. The next one is Amazon finds, clothes, books, camera gear, cool stuff I love. The next one is shop my Arbonne website. So I just think sometimes favorite fistics, she's just mixed it all in. Healthy aging skincare system I use. Anyway, just for you to do results, you know, I just think, and then join my Art of Healthy Aging Facebook group, and she's got a community of healthy aging. I just think it's so good for people your age to master that kind of thing.
All right, so guys, this is more homework for you, your bio, but go ahead, Tanya.
Oh, sorry, because I've been thinking about my bio a lot lately, and I'm 50 next year.
Ooh.
And I'm doing 50 things before 50, but like I really think the word thrive connects with me, and I wanted to change it to I was going to change the health and wellness business coach to Thrive with Tanya, but then I'm going to repeat my name twice, so that won't work.
Can I say
should
something?
I just?
Yeah, but I don't think so.
No.
Well, just be careful, because there is a network marketing business called Thrive.
Yeah, there is.
So you might be telling people that you're a Thrive.
Oh, okay. Well, what about if I change something like I help people thrive in all areas of life? Like,
it's just having it in there.
It can be, though, and this is something you're going to work on. All right, it's going to take time. Don't think you're going to get it straight away, but just think about you're trying to speak to everyone right now. It's very vague, you know. I help everyone thrive. Be a little bit more specific. You know, like I teach men and women how to build a global online health and wellness business. That's literally everyone. That's the whole entire planet. And we don't need to speak to everyone. We want to niche it down. I mean, I understand that, you know, Arbonne's available to men and women, but
I also changed mine. I don't say men anymore, because the only man I ever sponsored was my husband. So for me, I just took men out personally, because I'm not, but that doesn't mean you have to. I'm just saying, look at your team and look at kind of actually what you're attracting.
And be careful with health and wellness business in your bio as well, because that says that you're selling something straight away. People, we become savvy now. So
I just think, look at building a community of people that would love who you are and what you do, and then speak to that person more than kind of say, we're going to get to helping you with their mission statement anyway.
Yeah, totally. And for us guys, we realized how we offered value, and this is a brainstorming exercise, is humor. We discovered that. So that's why, if you look at our account, we're not saying to do funny reels and stuff like that, but that's how we connect to our audience. We offer humor. That's a version of value that allows us to engage with them,
which attracts them in, which we then say, thanks for the follow. Are you here for, you know, is it more about the skin? She goes, oh, I have no idea what you do for skin. Tell me more about that. So it's just bringing people to your page. So even looking at the amount of followers that you guys have, you're not attracting people to your pages. So that's what we want to do. We want to attract people to your pages so that they then be attracted to you. Because right now you can do as many reels on iPads and oils as you want, but if you've got your 100 followers and you're not getting out there, do you see what I mean? It just starts to be a bit of insanity.
Is everyone keeping up okay? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, good. So we want everyone as well, especially in our space. Instagram want everyone essentially to be creators now. That's their goal. They want people creating content. They want to support that. So in settings, which is, remember that little hamburger in your account, you want to go to settings.
So do this together. So click the hamburger.
Click the hamburger, then go to settings. And then you may need to scroll down a bit or not and click account. And then when you're in account, you need to scroll right down to the bottom and it says switch account type. You definitely want to be, it'll pop up then and say business, personal, or creator. You want to
if it says switch to personal or business, that means you are a creator.
Yeah.
If it says switch to creator or personal, that means you're a business account. If it says switch to creator or switch to business or creator, it means you're a personal account.
But I don't think any of you are personal.
What are you
accounts.
all? Creator.
I was a business, but no, I've changed
I
it.
think I'm a creator.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, just make sure you're a creator.
So what that means is, and as I said, we work with other businesses as well, aside from network marketers. What this actually means is that before, when they were in stories or doing other things, they weren't finding trending music, or they weren't basically getting all of the features that Instagram had to offer. Now selecting as a creator account unlocks all of the features.
And why, Andrea, you probably didn't have that problem is because the hack around it is if you're a business, but then you're an entrepreneur,
in your profile
then
category,
they give you the music. So you were an entrepreneur already in your thing. So you probably didn't notice that your music was dodgy and stuff. But normally, so when we work with businesses that sell on their actual, buy a scarf here and you can view shop, they have to be a business account because you have to have a business account to view shop. So then they just go to entrepreneur. Okay, so this is what's going to help, guys. So we'd love.
and we purposely showing you an old bio. Okay, so you'll see on the next screen.
We change our bios all the time,
and you will be changing yours too. So don't think that you're just going to.
You have to date it a little bit. Like, we'd love to all support each other, and maybe we can get into a group chat where all of us are in one chat, so we can just brainstorm with each other after this as well, and go, what do you think of this? And we can all coach each other on it. But this is basically where we're at. So you've got your username, and then you've got your name, which is different to your username. Now, then you have your mission or your tagline. So what do you do? What is it that is the biggest thing that you come to? If I came to your page, why would I want to stay at your page? I help, if it was, even with you, Andrea, it could be literally, I help over 50s live whatever life, like live a fulfilled life, whatever, I don't know. Or
that's still very
I'm just
vague.
saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do on that? I don't know what there's, I'm just giving ideas. But what is it that you want to target people with?
What do you want to attract?
What do you want to attract
but essentially, it's what value do you offer? And you just got to be very careful in our space. You're not your brand. You're not your product. You are the brand. Okay. So you really got to be doing some soul searching, because not that this would ever happen, but say for example, you created this fantastic following and you basically only spoke about your oils or only about Arbonne, but then all of a sudden your oil company disappeared off the face of the earth, or your Arbonne company disappeared off the face of the earth. What are you now? You were so advertising yourself as that product that you have no other direction to go. So that's why, our businesses are something that we have in our back pocket that we share with people, but you can't display it straight out the gates, because
and that way too, people do businesses who they know, like, and trust. So if you've built a community because of you and your heart, they're not going anywhere. Even if you did change, not that you can change companies, but even if you did have to, they would stay with you for who you've created, who you've kind of brought to you. Whereas if you just miss Arbonne and suddenly I can't sell Arbonne anymore, they're like, oh, we've got to move on. Because we only were with her because she sold Arbonne.
And I just want to reiterate again, guys, this is supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is, I'm racking my brain, it's hurting, it should be hurting, because this is the one thing that most people don't do. And because they don't do it, they play this perpetual game of just nonsense and still posting content they don't feel really great about, still not getting results because they haven't done the hard work on getting the bio sorted. That's why this is such a heavy part of our training. It's pointless knowing how to create reels if you don't know who you're speaking to. But guys, we strongly urge that you follow this sort of mission line at the top, credibility at the second, what has you show up as an expert, a call to action, because we have to direct traffic. You can't just expect, you need to tell people what you want them to do. And then of course your website. And we do officially have less attention span as a goldfish now. So it's terrible, guys. Look at the way you act. Look at the way your kids are acting. I feel terrible. We've got a 10-year-old. It's really, really hard to capture his attention, but we're all the same because there's so much information being dumped on us on a daily basis. It's really hard to cope. So
let me just say, you can kind of see mine. Obviously, I am in the same industry. So this is one I've kind of worked at. So mine says, your high energy fun fix, Tamlyn and Samuel, right? I help women to laugh at themselves, to upskill their socials and nurture their skin. So I've brought the skin in there without it being, oh my gosh, it's all about skin. And then I've got my credibility, 6-figure earner striving for 7. And then my call to action, I've actually got free skincare sample, click here. And then they go into an email list for me. So they click my link, they put their name and their email, and then I contact them saying, thank you so much. I can't wait to send you an age well sample or whatever they want, a sheet mask. And I then create that relationship. But they're now in my email funnel of me sending updates and newsletters and whatever I'm doing there. So that's kind of my strategy. And the same with our Tamdrewsocial, it goes into a funnel for an email list.
And that's a long-term strategy. And the reason we've got that, so don't worry if you haven't got that set up all right already, a link tree is fine. The reason we have that is because you don't own your Instagram, and Instagram can go away at any given time. So you've got to start thinking about, how am I capturing people's information for me to always be able to be in contact with them. So our email list is they're exchanging their email address and we're giving them something for free. That's just, but as I don't want you to get caught up with that, but if you see that on other people's accounts, that's the reason why they're doing it. So it's really, really, really important. So,
and again, just don't have your Arbonne website or your doTERRA website. Have a link tree instead. Do not have tamlynsamuel.arbonne.com.
And even Arbonne, I think even Arbonne on an Arbonne training actually taught people how to hide. If all they have is their website or a link to their website, at least transform that link using bit.ly so it isn't called Arbonne. So you can call it something else, click here or whatever.
And you also, you know what it's like when you send someone to you, if you ever give your website to someone, they're lost. They have no idea what they're pressing, and they're becoming a preferred client, and they like a recommended car is much better. So you'd be better off to say, DM me for it to connect, like then, and then you can have that one-on-one connection, then you can send them a recommended car of whatever they are that they're interested in. So, and
I don't know what doTERRA's website's like, but unless people are clicking, and we say this about people and businesses,
there's just so many things,
you know, websites are almost obsolete now. They really are. So even businesses, I think we're so attached to the beauty of our websites and we know how to navigate, but unless somebody's clicking your link and they know exactly where to go within 1 or 2 links, or it's clear as day for them to make a purchase or anything like that, then it's working. But if it's just this huge page with just millions of buttons, people won't click anything. They'll just get confused. So if you can generate individual links for key products, that would be a better step forward in doing that. But just want to show how then that lays out on our Tamdrewsocial account, for example. So we've already spoken about our username. We've already spoken about our name. Now let's talk about that. Remember, we were going from top to bottom: mission, credibility, call to action, website. So number 1, we're Tamlyn and Andrew, here to help you master your bio, connecting you to your audience. When you see that in a heartbeat, you know exactly what we do, right? You've got it. Number 2, credibility. What has us show up as somebody that I'm going to listen to? Why are you somebody I want to take information about when it comes to bio and connecting to your audience? And our credibility is...
Hundreds of thousands now.
Yeah, well, it is still probably hundreds of reels, millions of views. Now, if you are... Can you just stop doing that? It's really distracting. If you are... The reason I say credibility is because you know, like I teach mums and this at the other healthy wellness business. Why am I listening to you? Thousands of people say that. Why should I listen to you? And this is why we need to be so careful in giving health advice if we're not qualified to give it. And you still see, you know, like back in the day, we used to say a health coach and all that sort of stuff. Don't say that stuff because you're not qualified to actually
unless
do
you
it.
are qualified.
But if you are qualified, that's credibility. If you're an author or you write books, your credibility would be maybe author of 4 books. You know, if you're a real estate agent,
Not though.
no, but you're not. But I want to give the example. That real estate agent may not have won any awards, but then how many homes has that real estate person sold? You know what I mean? That can be your credibility. So in our case, we haven't won awards yet, but we have created hundreds of reels and we have had millions of views, which positions us as credible to you. And then number 3 is the call to action. So we're guiding you now, free bio cheat sheet, but we're guiding you by giving you something first. We're giving you a freebie, which is huge, guys. Everyone wants something for free. All right. And then when they click that link, that's our website, but it's actually a free bio cheat sheet. People have to put in their email address and they will be sent our free structure, which is what we're teaching you right now. But they also go into our funnel and we own their email address, and then we can always contact them outside and nurture a relationship with them there. Does that all make sense to you guys? And this is advanced bio. That's where you will all want to be arriving to. But if you have link trees right now and all that sort of stuff, then that will be absolutely fine and you get more confident. All right. So another hack for you guys, if you just want to, you know, change the font in your bio. Now, when you're changing your bios, if you do it within Instagram itself, you won't be able to add emojis. You won't be able to do anything. You probably taught yourself that already. So build your bio if you have an iPhone in the notes section. Okay, you can add emojis in there. And then this Lingo Jam, if you were to go into a web browser and type in Lingo Jam, it's free. If there's any part of your bio that you want to change the font to, so it stands out a little bit more, and we recommend you do that because it has things show up better, like we've just done here. And
Julie, great example for you. You had a word in there. What was the word that was in capitals?
Empower.
Empower, right. So when you had it in there, it looks very much like she's shouting because it's capitals. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you just had it in italic, in bold italic, it would look a lot softer, but it would still be empower. So that's why we love the Lingo Jam, because you can still make words stand out, because the only way you can stand out in Instagram is if you shout. Not shout, but you know, if you put it in capitals. So this just looks a lot sexier.
Yeah, avoid capitals.
Avoid capitals
at all costs. Is everyone following along here? Everything makes sense? Yeah, perfect. And you know, obviously when you're changing the font, you'll need to just, you know, copy and paste that key part that you want to and put that into Lingo Jam and bring that across and back and forth and back and forth. All right, so now we're just shifting gears a little bit. Remember the bio part and your profile part, guys.
Will take work.
Yeah, it will take work. So don't think you're going to be able to change it straight away. But I just want to touch on this, or both of us do, in fact, because it's so important with everything that's going on in the world. And actually, as of today, Instagram have just actually rolled out a new feature. You probably will be notified if you haven't already, asking you to do a security check on your account, because they're also understanding that their accounts or people's accounts are getting hacked a lot. But you can really help buffer that by doing 2-factor authentication. And it's clear as day. You don't need to do it right now, but I would strongly recommend, no, but please, because people will make mistakes and we've got a lot of training to get through. So this is homework for you. You will have this PowerPoint sent to you as well, guys. So it's easy. But the one thing I want to point out is when you do 2-factor authentication on your Instagram, please do it on all your other accounts. Do it on your Facebook, do it on your Linktree, do it, your LinkedIn, do it on your TikTok. It all functions the same way. You just have to go into that settings tab, into security, 2-factor authentication. And all it means, guys, is that if you log out, when you log back in, it will prompt you to your telephone or the number that you've entered, giving you a 6-digit code that you have to enter as well. And that will actually stop you being part of the statistics, like so many. How many people obviously get text messages or messages from friends saying I've been hacked? Like, it's on a daily basis. Please don't do this. Just be very, very careful. So don't take this information lightly. I'd act on that as soon as possible. And then
Well, here's a save reply, guys.
this is what Tamlyn was talking about with the save reply. And again, use the tools that Instagram have set up for you, because you're showing Instagram that you're doing what, you know, they want you to do. And you're spending more time on the app and doing it instead of doing it elsewhere. But you can talk about
Yeah,
this.
so you can have a little play around. So go to the hamburger, you'll be able to see it. And don't forget, we'll send you this PowerPoint so you can have a look. But go to the hamburger at the top and then go to settings and then click creator. And then you'll see saved reply. So when you click on that, it then asks you to put in whatever you want to put. So it's one word. It says choose a word. So for me, I put follow. You could also, for example, put lavender for your oil. You know, Julie, if you were talking about a specific thing and you wanted to write about the lavender oil, you could do whatever you wanted to put. So for example, and for Andrew, I think we don't have it here. This is what ours comes up as on our Tamdrewsocial.
So when I type in a keyword, which is follow for us, this is auto-populated, and we've already set that up. And this is just an example of what we do, and this isn't not set in fine print. I think we've changed it since, actually. But it's just then when you're actually sending a message to all your followers, you're doing it quickly. You're not wasting too much time. It's already there. Obviously, I've got the underscore there at the top because I will be entering their name. Please, whenever you're messaging new accounts that follow you, do your homework and find their name. Okay, some of them may not have their name clearly on their bio, but you can click.
Which is also what's annoying, you see, if you don't have your name, because you're like, oh, because you have to put then, hi, healthy, happy mompreneur. Thank you, know, because you've not got a name. I know you had Andrew in there, but for example, you don't know people's names, so you're stopping people to find out who you are.
Yeah.
See, for example, on my album one, I've put, I think you actually did this for me yesterday.
Did I?
Yeah. Hi Paige, thank you so much for the follow. I hope you're enjoying my daily content as much as I am enjoying creating it. Are you just here for fun or interested to know how I nurture my skin? Wink. Either way, I'm just happy you're here and hope to keep you entertained with my daily reels. Have an awesome day or night, and it's great to connect, Tamlyn. And then she's put, hi Tamlyn, I'm here for the fun and the earrings. Keep having fun, right? So it's just cute because I always have my big earrings. But it's cute because now I can go into her account and start commenting on hers. Oh, I love those earrings, whatever. Oh, then I'll do a story about the doing results. So I'll do a story about the iPads. And then that person's watching that story. Do you see the difference? And then they go, I'm interested in what those iPads are. Whereas if I'd have sold it straight away, she would be gone. She wouldn't even give me a chance to speak about the iPads or the fizz sticks but because I'm just doing it in my stories, I'm creating a following of people. But I can have 600 people watch my stories. So, you know, I mix it all in a bit with my mom and dad and then fizz stick or whatever. But it's fascinating to see how people respond like that. Because another woman put the other day, I don't know where it is now, but she basically said she's excited. She doesn't know why she's here.
No, I'll find it.
Oh, it's that one. It's Donna. Hi, Tam. I love your daily content. Oh no, not that one. That's another one. Yeah. Anyway, she just put something like, I love you guys. I don't know what else it is you do, but I'm excited to find out. You just don't know. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know. But that's way more interaction than you get if you post anything about Arbonne or doTERRA, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's just like crickets.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So do you, when you have new followers and it's someone with a private account, like a random private account, do you send them a message as well?
Yeah, so we have a look. There's a hack around it.
Yeah, so if you go into their account, you always check them out. If it's a weirdo, don't send. If a new account is following,
if they've got no posts and 2 following, don't waste your time.
I block them straight away usually.
It's a bot, yeah.
But you go into their account, okay, and this is normally their account will pop up, and normally you can message them and stuff like that. If that isn't available because it's a private account, go into the top 3 buttons in the right, and if you click on that, a pop-up will appear.
Okay, I've got an example.
And it will say send message.
So this is someone that's just followed me, right? So I can follow them back, but I can't send a message. So like Andrew says, you go here, so you click there, and then you can send a message down the bottom.
Okay.
So that's going to get me in.
But it will.
That's going to get me into their account right there.
It'll probably go to their message request section. So whether they're on it enough to find
that. But that's fine. You still send.
But you've also got to understand, guys, there's so many people on Instagram that aren't posting, all right, that have a very strange photo who are buying products and shopping, okay, that you can still connect to. So don't just make too many assumptions. I think we can all tell the weirdos in the space, but there's a lot of people that are buying products from us who, if we'd made a prejudgment,
oh my gosh, there's like this, people with like a lady with a cat, and she loves the Age Well, but she just loves ours and then the Age Well, and if she started with the iPads and then she upgraded herself and bought the Age Well, all because I spoke about it on my stories. So you just don't know, like you don't know who's, it's all new people. All right, is that clear?
Does that all make sense, guys?
Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about stories. So obviously,
what's the purpose?
The purpose of the stories is for your network to know, like, and trust you, like we spoke about. Is it hair appointment time?
Hair appointment time.
Love you guys. Yeah, so the purpose of your stories is for people to know, like, and trust you. So you need to, have so much going on in your stories of your normal life. Like, even, watching you do the hair of your child in their hair wraps and putting your hair in the curlers and watching see if it curls or not. We all want to see that in the stories. We don't want to see that in your feed. It has nothing to do with your brand, but it's everything to do with your personal life. So walk the dog, do the cooking. I don't know, talk to, like, for all following my mum and dad, they all love their daily updates, right? It's just fun, but you put the daily updates and then I'll put my Arbonne in throughout that.
Yeah, don't just talk about your products, guys.
Don't just talk about products at all.
You've got to look at your stories as your hardcore fans. Okay, so say you have 1,000 followers on your Instagram account, only 10% will ever check out your stories. So don't think you need to have 1,000 people looking at your stories. A good gauge would be 100 people, then I'm on the mark with my stories. But don't just post quotes. That you can, but mix it up. It's got to have variety in there. But the biggest thing about stories that people don't understand is that it can literally be anything. But the more you can talk about your life and welcome people in, it's like how we were first attracted to reality TV. We got to see behind the scenes of people's life, like the Kardashians and all that sort of stuff. We couldn't see that before. So stories is your opportunity to do that for your audience as well, and show them that you're a normal person and build trust while you're sleeping.
And if people are maybe interested in something that you once talked about, but they don't really want to talk to you, or, they're going to go, wow, look, she is a normal person. She's got a beautiful little boy. She's going whatever. And then they're going to say, okay, I'm actually interested in that, in those iPads, because they trust you. So
stories are really, really important. And if you piece all the parts of the puzzle together, I hope it's all starting to make sense that your bio and your profile picture are the most important, okay? Once you got that sorted out, everything you post on your main feed, which will predominantly be reels, is speaking to your bio. They've got to match, okay? But your content in your main feed is what's being sent out to the worldwide, like a fishing net. People are getting attracted, looking at your bio. If there's a connection, it makes sense, and there's something offered to them that they like, they'll follow you. And then over a period of time, because you're doing stories all of the time, they want to get to know you better. They're going to go into the stories. So you can see if you miss out any of those key factors, the whole formula falls apart.
And if I go to your account because I've seen a reel and you have no stories, it's as if it's not real, that you're not there. And the amount of times you just want to, like, you love it when you go, oh, look, and then they're chatting. I was watching this woman yesterday. It was an awful story about breast cancer, but I'm just saying, I literally fell in love with this woman just because she was talking and she was real and she was crying. And I watched all the stories, and now I'm totally invested in her and her health. But I'm just saying, it was like, without those stories, you wouldn't have known who she truly was as a person, and what you fall in love with people very easily. Just going back here, making sure you've got all your closed captions. You know how to do that, right? If you're speaking, you must have the closed captions on all the time, because the majority of people do not listen with the sound on because they're at work scrolling. And if you have your captions, they're going to stay on your page watching, because whereas if you're just talking with no captions, they'll swipe to the next person.
And also add music wherever possible, because
you never really want dull.
Otherwise it's just boring. It's just another level of engagement that brings people in and adds emotion to things. Now, I remember, Julia, you were saying at the start of this call, I've done all of this, I've done the interaction polls and nothing's happening, but can I ask you a question? And please try to be honest with me. Did you do it long enough? Because generally what will happen if you're doing stories and you start doing polls for people to interact with you, but nothing's happening, our human brain...
But the question is, were the polls just about products? Yeah. Because that's where we're going to get people...
was even just random private things. Like,
Right.
do you like sunsets or sunrises, you know?
Great,
Let me
great.
finish.
Keep that up.
No, but this is.
But even that.
We'll take ourselves out of the game because no one's replied after a week, and we'll say it's not working. You just haven't done it long enough because your audience are not used to you asking them for interaction. So you just got to keep it up.
And you also don't have a huge following yet. So the people who see your stories is like 10% of your followers. So if you've got 100 followers, you've got like 10 people watching. If you've got 600, you know, you've got 6 people watching. So that's where you can kind of, and even for us, yeah, we've nearly 16,000 followers, but really I only ever max about 600, 700 people watching my stories. So it's a lot of people for what we need, but you look at that and kind of, you go, wow, that's a huge chunk of people not seeing my stories.
We weren't immune like you guys, or maybe you or not, but we fell into the same trap of doing it for a little while and, you know, ask me a question and crickets. And we started to, oh, this isn't working. I feel really bad. So we just were taught that you have to do it long enough. You have to teach your audience, keep up with it, and eventually they start to, and this is an account that somebody wants me to interact with. It can take weeks in some cases.
And a good hack, guys, if you do have, you know, you will have a time where there's an offer, like I've just done one for Gemma's, and I don't rarely do where I post a flyer after I've spoken, but I did. So my following, the numbers of views on the stories will go down because it's a product and people are like, oh yeah, I don't want to buy that. That's normal. I also will sell a lot though, so you have to weigh it up. Do you see what I mean? But a top tip on that is if you go and check my stories right now, I take you on a journey. So I talk about the DEM results. I'm in my bathroom, I'm just talking about it, and then I show some information, and then I show the price with a poll saying, yes, please, or no, thank you. But I might sell a few sets from that, great, but my engagement might go down. So the hack is, once you do something like that, if it has gone down, what they say is wait 24 hours with no stories, right? So you're leaving everyone in suspense, like where's she gone, where's she gone? No story, they're all probably waiting for my mum and dad updates, no stories. And then the first story you put back up to 24 hours needs to be an engagement post of literally, like the one I did, which blew up. I had a picture of me brunette and a picture of me blonde. And I said, is it time to go to the dark side? Kind of yes or no. And then everyone loves to get involved. They're like, no, stay blonde, or yay, go to the dark side. So it's nothing to do with Arbonne, it's nothing to do with business, nothing, but you want it to be so easy, like a sunrise, sunset. But the only thing with sunrise, sunset is it's just still a little boring. People aren't like, oh, it's fun to tell you. Like people like to tell you what they think. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
give them a negative and positive experience. Don't make your polls yes or yes.
Yeah, always have a no.
People have to be able to say no, you know, like I do funny ones.
You're quite funny, yeah.
You know, like I'm washing my hair as the no, or, you know, all that sort of stuff. Be funny with it. If you
and Andrew says things like, you know, yes, I'd like to know more about Instagram. And then the no is, no, I'm 100% got it going on. But because people think they have. Right, so then it's kind of funny because we're kind of,
it's still an interaction.
It's an interaction, but it's giving someone the chance to go, yeah, I'm okay.
And guys, remember, if people are interacting with your polls, positive or negative, what's happening with your feed, it's going to their feed. It's the same when you interact with people in direct messages, all of their feed and your feed. That's how the algorithm works. It's you work on connection, you will get your information to more people.
Quizzes are really good, and the slide across are really good. So
and you can answer your own polls, you can answer your own quizzes, you can answer your own sliders. So I always do that as well, just to get people going. Because especially with questions, you see so many influencers, you know, ask me a question, and then all of a sudden the next 10 slides of their stories are all these answers. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, they've answered their own questions because it doesn't show it was them. It's just teaching our audience that people interacting. You can do that.
But the reason I wanted to show you this is not because I'm perfect, I'm not, but I do take you on a journey.
I'm seriously obsessed with these new products. So for those who haven't heard about them,
I'm just, nothing posh. I'm just in my bathroom.
This face wash is the cleansiest face wash ever. It is so beautiful and stunning.
I'm not trying to be a beautician.
It's just like next level. Beautiful. But the glow cream is it for me. The glow cream, is that right? It's so thick and luxurious.
Right, so I've given an engagement thing there. People putting the love heart.
My eye cream, but this is actually free at the moment with the set. And this is like over $100. And then I'm adding it with my night cream, because I love a night cream, making sure I've got my night cream as well. But yeah, it's having all makeup for some time too, because I just think it's just so beautiful on your skin. So let me know. I'll put the prices here, but some amazing offers right now.
Right, then I don't normally do this, but I just did a bit more information if someone was going to read it. I'm going to do the same with the oil, and then go to, and then I did the price. Yeah, and then I just went back to being funny again, like just so it's just mixing it up a little bit. But like I said, I very rarely do that. It's only if I'm like, right, okay, now I'm going to see, because you can catch people. You can catch people who are randomly just looking at your stories that are like, oh, I didn't know you sold creams, and then they're like, I'd like some more info. So you do it, but not everyone wouldn't do it every day. Yeah. And I sell a lot of the iPads for that one reason. I'd be taking my dog for a walk with the iPads on. And I'm like, oh, I forgot I've got these iPads on. Have you tried these yet? I know many of you have got them, that kind of thing, right? I'm so casual. Like I just try and be so natural. I don't try and look fabulous. I'm just trying to be a human being who is obsessed with these products. Like, and then I'll just talk about something else.
And don't use natural light as often as possible. If you're going to bring yourself on the camera, guys, don't over filter, because again, that says you've got something to hide if you're always filtered. And I want to give you a hack around stories, because we're not always feeling inspirational. You don't always want to be speaking about whatever you're selling, but try to come from a standpoint of documenting your life as opposed to creating up with content. Because when you document your life, it's a lot easier concept to gather in your head. But also, every single thing that you posted in your stories since your creation of your account hasn't disappeared. If you go into the hamburger right now on your settings tab, if you click on the hamburger, and then right at the third from the top, you'll see something that's called archive. If you go into archive, you literally, yeah, I mean, there's all of them. You can scroll up. Every single story on every day that you've had that account is there. You can actually save them and repost them. They didn't always go away. So how exciting is that? I'm excited about that.
And also just on that, ladies, talk about different things that you love that you do not sell. So that's another thing that makes people trust you. If you only talk about doTERRA or you only talk about Arbonne, people lose trust because they go, oh, she's just trying to sell me. But you know, if you talk about the blender that you absolutely love, we've got a juice that's called a Blueser. I'm surprised you haven't sold many of them, but seriously, we love our juicer, Blueser, whatever it's called. And we'll just randomly have that in stories, talk about the coconut bowls that we love, talk about different things, you know, and you're not making any commission from it, you're not selling them, but people are going, oh, this is what she does. She talks about different things that she loves.
Yeah.
And that's what Char Blair's done. And she's got a few things that she talks about. Some she'll make money on, some she won't. But people then form the trust that you're going to tell them about what's good and bad.
And remember also, guys, that most of your selling online with social media will happen in your direct messages, okay? So your interaction polls, everything you're doing is gearing people to direct message you. So gear it that way, because that's where you're going to sell. You're only going to sell to people. You're not going to sell to people by posting something and say, I want to buy, yes or no. People won't do that, okay? But when you're in a direct message, you show up as a human being. You can have a conversation. How was your day? Do the work. And then it can actually turn into a sale. And that's what most people don't do.
All right, so let's get into Reels, just to make sure you all really know kind of the power of them. And
so yeah, Reels have been going now on Instagram. I told you the backstory where they came from. And now you know that Reels is simply an editing app within Instagram. There's so many changes and developments. It's only improving over and over and over again. So what you even knew maybe a year ago, the platform looks already very, very different. But you don't necessarily, and I want you to really take this on board, you don't necessarily need to build every single video that you've created within the Reels app itself. It can be a little bit glitchy. It can be a little bit complicated. So if you've already got video content on your camera, as long as it's portrait and not landscape, you can use that for sure. Don't think that you have to build everything within the Reels app within Instagram in order to call it a Reel. It's just a video editing app within Instagram. But Reels, I mean, again, talking about attention span, you know, why they're great? They're quick, they're engaging, they're captivating, educating, inspiring, exciting, and shareable. You can have a 5-second reel that makes an impact and creates emotion, captures people's attention. And guys, the sky's the limit. We just highlighted a few things that you can actually do. You can copy trends, you can do quick lessons, top threes. If you're not a creative person, please don't worry about it. Find accounts who are creative and just copy what they do. Because you're showing yourself in there, that's what's making it unique to you. If you've copied to the T, like in a lot of our humor ones, give that account credit in your caption. Just add them in. It just shows respect. But Instagram want you to get ideas from other people. Instagram want you to use the music that other people have used. That's the whole concept of it. You can do number ones, favorite things, reviews, and you don't have to dance, guys, on every single reel. I think that's what the TikTok sort of image everyone had in their head. By all means, I can't dance, but it's become quite funny when I show people I can't dance. So that becomes it adds in with our humor. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, but you know where to access it. There's lots of different places. You can actually even slide your whole thing to the left and access that way, but the quickest access is that plus button at the top of your account. And then of course, you can access at the bottom there. And remember, in that middle area on the left there, next to the Rubik's Cube, that's in the middle now. Yeah, that's actually if you access directly to your reels, the ones that you've created. Before we go any further, I just want to say too, because we're going to be asking for engagement in our reels, like calls to action, so people are engaging. They may not be doing it already because you simply haven't been asking. You've been making statements more than anything. Remember, reels have a lifespan, all right? And that means that it's part of your job when you post a reel to go back on previous reels and see if people have commented or whatever and reply back to them. We've seen so many businesses that they had the mentality of, I've done my social media post today, I posted that reel, I never need to go backward now, I'm only looking forward. And they're actually missing opportunities for engagement in previous posts and previous reels that they have done. So make it a habit of yours.
So do you know, just give me a thumbs up, you probably do, to how to see if a reel is trending, if the audio is trending compared to it not trending. All right, so go into reels right now so I can show you. On mine, okay. So I just went to here, so I'm in my account. I just go to here, the reels here. Right, can you see that arrow there on the bottom? It's got a little arrow. Your reels will be different to my reels, but can you see the arrow in the bottom corner? That is showing me that that is trending right now. So that's a good song to use. Tell me something that you wish more that is trending. Tell me something that you wish more people. Because we use it a lot, we see it a lot. This is trending. See?
Oh my God, I love Brad.
This is not trending. See, it's just like a little music sign. Can you see the difference? Yeah. Okay, so that is where, if I were you, I would be trying as much as possible to use those trending audios as much as you can. So if I am, okay, we'll probably go on.
I just want to say, guys, these next slides, remember, we're going to be sending you a PDF version of this. So it's merely here just to help you when you're looking at the PDF version of what everything is.
So just get your phone out so you can see what we're seeing. And going into here, so obviously you're going to try and create a reel. So this is kind of what it should look like when you're going to create a reel. Yeah, we've done a reel, we know reels, so we're just going through it quick. Obviously you can see this is where you choose your music. This is where the time is, so you can see the 30, 60, 90, 15, like that's where you click it. Shout me if you say stop if we're getting confused. The timer, the 1 times, we know that this makes it either really fast or really slow. So you can make it half speed. So if you're doing like a lip syncing and you're struggling, you can slow it right down. So you're going, hi, seeing you around. And then when you play it, it'll go, hi, seeing you around. But you've managed to lip sync it better. We normally do that when Andrew struggles with the dance moves. We need to get another one of those up. Slow it down. Another thing is I made it really slow. And I then we did one where Andrew was asleep on the beach in a duna, and he said, oh, when I had an argument with my wife, and then I run out and show him that he's literally the only person on the beach with his blanket, like I've left him there for the night. But I did it where it was so slow that I ran as fast as I could back. But then because it was quick, it made it look like it had gone like a drone. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like, whoops, there's so many things you can do. That's the speed.
And that's just being creative. And even guys, this snapshot that I've taken right now, you're looking in your phones, there's probably a couple of other things that have been added there, new updates. And it's almost on a daily basis now, guys, that Instagram are adding new things. So you can have
That's a new one, dual.
Yeah, the dual photo image. You see the camera
good.
where you can actually be filming and looking at yourself like you would on FaceTime. Yeah, it's just a matter of pushing the buttons. Is the quickest and easiest way that you're going to learn. And remember, guys, you can accidentally post something, just delete it. It's no big deal. Nothing's going to happen. I think people get so precious around, if I do this, something's going to happen, and you're going to be outed or something. I don't know. Honestly, our minds just do really, really crazy things.
But the biggest thing for me on this too is you can see at the bottom left here where you can upload images and videos from your camera roll. So let's say you did a video about derm results, right? Or an oil cleaning video on how to clean your bathrooms using essential oils, right? And you did an actual video of you talking about blah, 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 blah. Now you can upload the video. So you can go into Reels and upload it like it's, sorry, so go back. So let's say here, right. So this is a trending song. Let's say I go, oh, that's a really good song for me to use with that video that I've done. So you'd go use audio. So I've got the audio that I'm going to use. I go use audio. I then upload the video. No?
I'm not showing that very well.
Yeah. Well, can you just maybe screen share? Upload the video. So I've got here a video of my mum and dad coming back. This is a video that I had on my thing. Right? The comedy. But you can't hear me. You can't hear me because I'm wanting my voice. So this is what you do. You press add. So you've got the video. Okay. And then you go to, right? So that's what I can see. You go to this music here. Where's the music? Okay. And then it tells me how much of my voice do I want to hear and how much of the song do I want to hear. Then I put my voice all the way up, camera audio all the way up. And then I put that song down to 20. And now you can hear me speaking. Not a great example of mum. Can you see? So now you can hear me speaking, but to a trending song. So Instagram's going to push because it's a trending song. And again, like for example of that, it's too loud. So I'd go right down to like 5. You can figure it out. But anyway, just as a top tip, I think it's so important for those doing videos.
Yeah. So, and then that's just the next page and where everything is. And guys, what you'll notice is that it actually operates very similar to stories. So a lot of you have been using these features already, but a lot of them are quite intuitive. But the only reason you probably don't know them is maybe you just haven't been creating enough reels. And this is why we always tell people, you might hear this time and time again, we started this call the same way. If you just have the strategy in your head that I'm just going to do 90 days worth of reels, you will eventually work out all of these buttons and what they do and how they can work for you. But most people don't. But have the mindset instead of what people do, I guess, is they want to be perfect before. They want to have their reels absolutely spectacular. It's just simply not going to happen. And if you were to look at our account, from the first time we started posting reels, our reels were atrocious, but they're there. And you can see our own growth journey and how we got better. You've got to take yourself through that process. Now, after 90 days, you will have skilled up. Just like going to the gym, you will be the body that you want to be, but we just never give it enough time, or we just try to be too perfect from the get-go. So try to instill that mindset into your head that I'm purely doing it every single day. It's going to be painful. It's going to feel like it's taken forever. But by the end of 90 days, for us to do a reel now compared to when we first started, it used to take us 4 hours to do a reel. on some of our videos, but now it takes us 5 minutes. But that's the journey you have to take yourself on, and there's no real shortcut to it, like anything in life, I'm sorry to say.
And you can see here there's an arrow at the top. Can you see the arrow with the line underneath,
And
the downward arrow?
And you'll see the same in your stories.
That's the save button. It's so important. Once you've created your reel, and just before you post your reel, just save it to your camera roll, and that will save so that you can re-upload it to Facebook, you can re-upload it to whatever, TikTok, but it'll just save in your camera roll. And you can also, for example, save that and post that, say it was a video, post it with another trending song in 30 days time, and you can still use that same video and information with all the quotes or whatever, save it and then go to there.
And this has kind of changed a little bit as well, but we can really separate amateur to professional with people on accounts in a number of different ways. And the biggest one that people are missing, and you know, the challenging thing, if you can follow along with us, guys, is even as we're talking about this, I know Facebook will eventually, can you turn it down? Facebook will eventually have the real full screen be the full screen view on the main profile group. But do you notice when your reels, if you were to go into the reels tab, it's the full screen of your phone, but then when you look at your grid, it's a square. Do you notice the difference when you go in your grid and your timeline? What you've got to do is it's changed now, but when you're finally ready to post your reel, you're going to have an edit cover or a profile grid tab where you get to reposition how that looks on your timeline. Okay, and a lot of people don't take that step, so that when it gets posted on both the timeline and your reel, some writing is cut off, or you just
your head's cut off,
or it just doesn't look attractive or appealing. If you look at our accounts, every single image of us is perfectly how we want to show up, and it can be any portion of that video that we've used, but we haven't cut off words. It's all in this little feature at the end. And we always recommend, guys, that you share to feed. That's really, really important. And you probably, a lot of you know in the bottom left there, if you're not ready to post it right now, you may be feeling very creative and inspirational, you can save it to draft in your phone and use it another time. Does everyone understand that? Now, if you feel really great, we're not a big fan of batching reels. You hear this expression time and time again. I've got 4 hours, I'm just going to make 10 reels. We're not a big fan of it because
we did it.
The quality tends to just drop off. It isn't that great, but you know, try it. It might work for you. But bear in mind, if you save a lot of your reels that you created into draft and then accidentally log out of your account, all of those draft videos will disappear. All right, so just know that, to be very, very, very careful.
I just want to look to go to here where it says tag people. If you want to collaborate, so let's say you were talking health and wellness, I'll go back to Andrea, with someone who's mastering it over 50, and that's what you want it, your ideal client, you want it to be. So you can a little bit what KA is doing with her celiac stuff. She's finding celiacs that are really, you know, already there and kind of collaborating with them, right, to help, so it's not just her on her own. So the same thing with you. So let's say you found someone who you could do a video with, who was empowered or whatever. Don't just tag them, collaborate with them. So you'll find that in where it says tag people, and you'll be able to invite collaborators. So let's say you've got an account with 10,000 followers and you've done something with them and you collaborate. That means it will appear on their page as a reel, and it will appear on your page as a reel. It links you both together.
And you leverage.
So it says at the top, you know, Tamlyn and Samuel with Tamdrewsocial, it links you together, and then you can you can both take advantage of each other's followers there, and the views. So if you have really bad views, just piggyback off someone who has really good followers and good views, and you'll suddenly get a really good reel on your page that's got thousands of views. To help you build your account. So collaborating is a really good way to do that.
And that's a strategy that we've actually used for Tamdrewsocial and Tamlyn and Samuel, because Tamlyn's account was grown a lot stronger. So we've collaborated a lot of our funny reels together. You'll see there's 2 icons on each of our videos. That just means that we've linked. You have the same caption, the same interaction, but it shows on both accounts. And you can only collaborate with one person at this stage. And even if you collaborate with somebody and they choose not to have it on their account, it will just stay in their DM inbox, and they just need to accept at any time. It doesn't expire. at this stage. But we don't recommend just randomly collaborating with somebody without making an agreement or requesting, because they're just simply going to ignore you. Okay. Now we're just going to share with you some ideas of reels. Now, guys, you've probably been following us for a while, so you've probably seen what sort of things. And I don't want you to compare our chapter, 52 to your chapter, whatever. It just simply, it won't match up. We've been doing this for a long time. We started doing this with TikToks back when COVID started. And that's where we were so fortunate, because at that same time, TikTok took off for us accidentally, because we were doing these videos, funny videos. And when we stopped doing them, people were messaging us and just saying, why would you ever consider doing that? Please keep doing it. So we developed a skill set that we never realized would turn into something like this. And then halfway through COVID, do you remember, Reels came out? So we just simply adapted that skill set into Instagram. But the only advice that we can give you is what I just mentioned before, is just have the focus of, I've got to improve my skill set. So I'm just going to commit to doing them every single day. However painful it is, my goal is to become very good at this, so that it becomes more of an afterthought instead of all consuming. All right. But it is the only thing that Instagram are pushing right now. You'll get a hell of a lot more reach. And when you start to do it correctly, you're going to start to see the results. So if we can give, I don't know which one's going to go first, but based on the fact that we're in our type of business, we'll show you how short and how simple they can be.
Oh my God, what is that? Put it in the cart. Put it in the cart.
I mean, how long was that? That was, can you hear that? Can you hear the sound?
Are you sharing? We sharing
sound?
sound?
I'm sharing sound. So that was 4 seconds. Tam just piggybacked off a sound that was already there and lip synced.
It was trending.
Make sure when you're lip syncing, you've got to be lip syncing correctly. If you're not, take 2, take 3, take 4, because when you don't do it right, it looks shit. And back in the day, you used to be able to get away with it, but not anymore. It has to be. And sometimes, guys, we don't get it straight away. It can take 15 times, but we keep going back and back and back until we get it. But Tam hasn't given everything away, right? She's just created massive intrigue. And then
my captions like tired eyes, puffy eyes, dark circles, this is you, comment eyes for more info.
And then we're sending out recommended carts.
And then they just type eyes, and then I send them recommended carts.
But where people in our industry make a mistake is that they're actually there with the whole thing in their reel. They've given away the name of the brand. They've told all the information. They've told how much it costs as a PC, how much it costs as an independent consultant. And it's just like you're selling. You're just like, there's no fun in that for anybody. So just be mindful. You're selling.
And they also can go to eBay and get it themselves, because they know exactly what the product is, they know exactly the name. There's no reason to check.
They've gone to Amazon and they purchased that product without you. And that's the biggest danger we have in our industry.
Stretching your bio is so important.
This is an idea of talking through a video, but putting trending music behind it.
Yeah.
Your bio.
Me, the human hair.
New York species is very gave the young boys admiration. Prince from Queens and Prince from Harlem, street legends. Kept the hood from
stretching your bio is so important for 3 reasons. Number 1, we have an attention span of less than a goldfish, like 4 seconds, so make it count.
And number 2 is your first sentence of your bio speaking to people as opposed to speaking about you.
And number 3, make sure you have some credibility in there to see why would I follow you and is it worth my time. So that's why.
Okay, and the way we did that, obviously that was literally a camera in front of us. And we filmed the entire thing, and then we just took the 15 minutes of recording and just chopped it up very, very blah, 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 blah. So maybe a little bit more advanced, but we're using original content. We've added trend in music, so we leverage off that push, and we've added humor, which is our brand, and we're still giving valuable information. That could be a share worthy.
And what the reason that ends really funny is because that's called a loop. So it ends exactly the way it starts. So you never know when the reel ends, which means you watch it 2 or 3 times before realizing, have we just watched this already? Mm-hmm. Which gives you a lot more reach.
And then for Tamdrewsocial again. So it's a very simple way of just getting information across, but we're adding value, guys. And if you can have the mindset of how can I add value with all the things that I've learned maybe from my business that are going to appeal to a greater audience that cut out selling so much. Don't always do that product reel all the time. You want to have them in there, but just add value as well. And then more product options, if that's the one that's going to go first.
I'm starting a girl gang of women aggressively supporting other women. So hands up if you want in. And if we get enough people, we're totally getting jackets.
And that's just team building, you know. That's a funny example of, you know, if you have humor in your back pocket, leverage off it, guys. And then the next one.
I sold so many iPads with this. I sold so many iPads with that.
But again, in the team building one, obviously we want to build a team. The product one, we're not giving all the information away. And I think this is where people in our industry just get it so wrong. And this is what we were doing wrong all of the time. We are so loud and proud about our business, but when you give all that information away, unfortunately, people don't respond the way that you actually want them to. And then we were recently on a business trip, sharing, you know, success of our business. We're on an MVP trip to Sydney, but look how we've created content out of that. When we went to pick up the car at the end, I couldn't get the ticket out of the paid meter, so that was a bit of a disaster. But guys, again, we've become very good at this over time. And if you've noticed with all those shots, all I had in my mind is I'm going to create a reel about this 2-day experience, but I'm just going to capture lots of different things. I popped them in a folder in my phone. And then when I was on the plane on the way home, I created that into a reel.
And can you see that it changes with the music? It's got like a beat every single time.
With the music,
has to match the music.
And when you're videoing stuff and documents, and even for your stories, always move the camera. Never just sit and record like this. Movement engages your audience. Okay, so you've noticed in that video, I'm constantly moving to the left, to the right, up and down. As long as you're doing it steady, it's. And if you watch any TV, which I'm sure all of us do, have you not noticed that we no longer sit and watch the TV of any one thing happening? The camera is constantly moving around people because it's another level of engaging your audience. And then we just did some more fun ones just to show if you have humor on your side, but we're still adding value. So I don't know which one's going to go first, but let's have a look.
Come on, kids, we need to leave now. Have you brushed your teeth? Oh, really? Then why is this dry? Why are the bristles dry? Don't you lie to me. How have you lost your socks? I just watched you put them on 2 minutes ago. Stop there, you got Marmite on your cheek. Come on, I'll get it. I'll get it. Oh, I hope it's Marmite. Can you go upstairs and wash your face now? Right, that's it. You'll just have to start the new term wearing one shoe then. Have you gone upstairs and washed your face? How on earth have you got so much toothpaste down your uniform? Honestly, it's like a Colgate waterfall. I am still waiting for you to go upstairs and wash your face. Where's your PE kit? Well, did you put it in the laundry basket? Then it'll be where you left it. If you don't go and wash your face now, I shall take you into the garden and drop you in the pond, and I'll enjoy it. Oh, sorry to interrupt you watching the TV, my darling, but do you remember 15 minutes ago when I wasted my breath telling you to go upstairs and get dressed? It does not take 8 hours to eat a bowl of cereal. Okay, come on, and we're leaving. Do you know what? I actually think we're going to be on time today. What's that? You desperately need a poo? Right now as we're leaving.
The beautiful thing, that's quite a long one, and you know, we wouldn't ordinarily do ones like this, but can you see, you will look at that twice, because one, you're looking at the movements, and then you'll go back and read the text. And what we're actually doing is just adding value to people, teaching them in a humorous way what we've learned about, you know, whatever. But there's hooks, there's multiple cuts, there's a plot twist at the end.
A higher power got me singing every second, dancing every hour. Oh yeah, you've got a higher power.
Just adding value, guys. I think we just don't do enough of this. If we're adding value and have our purpose-driven mindset of just adding value to people, we're going to win. But remember, you can't just do this once in a while. You just got to have a mindset to keep going with this, and it'll eventually pay off. Another funny one, but relatable.
These are my ladies.
This is Jill. This is my lady Amy. Little Susie. Brianna. You know why we call her Brianna, right? No. It's a long story. Shaniqua. Helga. Miss Kitty. Jeannie. I dream of, Teresa. This is Teresa right here.
So very relatable. We had a lot of fun making that one. But guys, I hope you're getting the idea now that how your reels can actually look, and we'd encourage you to follow accounts that speak to you and start piggybacking off their ideas before you start developing your skill set, because you can't just come right out the gates thinking that you're just going to nail this. And we didn't arrive at this place. This took us a lot of time and consistency. Now, we spoke a little bit about this, and if you look at our accounts, this is another level of bringing your audience in. A lot of people are posting reels, they're nailing the reels, but they're not adding what you would call, or what you may have heard, a hook. So a hook is adding like a sentence in there that draws people in. So if you can imagine everything that you see there right now without that one sentence, it would just be a video, right? And there isn't that extra layer that draws me in to click and watch the video. Now on the right side, that image there is how it appears in your Reels tab. And then on the left side, and it's probably not going to stay like this, it's probably going to look more like the right, but on the left side is how that same sort of reel will appear on your grid. It will be squared off. And that's why you have to go back to, remember that profile grid adjustment that we spoke to you about? That will show you up as amateur or not. Otherwise, look on the left image, 3 down. Do you see how we didn't use that profile grid square up, and we've cut off the words?
It was actually it.
But anyway, it's a good example. But most people will be cutting off the words. That's why you've got to adjust it so it actually shows all of the words. Now, when you use a hook to draw people in, get used to using the word you or your, because that invites the audience in to think that we're talking about you, something that you're going to get from it. You know, we haven't done it in every single time here, but at least where's an example? Everything you start, you know, how do you start your day? When you call to tell your husband, do you have the X factor? When your husbands can call, it's kind of like, well, I want to know the rest of that. Do you know what I mean? So think about how you can do that very effectively. Now this applies, guys, again, this is how you show up as amateur, and this is how you show up as professional. And this applies for your reels when you're adding text. I know we're bombarding a lot of information on you guys, but you've got the recording, so well done. Normally we wouldn't do sessions this long without a break, but we've got so much information to share with you. But in your stories and also in your reels, when you add text to things, you just have to put your finger on the text that you've created and move it around the center, and these blue lines will appear. And it will actually show you where to position the text so that it isn't covered up. The
amount of people we see that drag it down, it's behind their name or their caption, and you can't see any of it.
Does that make sense to everyone?
So you have to stay in the lines, always. It's
so important. And then who's checking out their Insights tab? Tanya, you're looking a little bit deflated. This is like, that's another thing I'm not doing.
Bless you.
No, it's the Insights tab basically is gonna help you watch your own journey and see what sort of content your audience are actually enjoying, what country they're from, all this sort of stuff. So get used to making it part of your daily habits to go in there. We're not going to give a full training on what you're going to find in your Insights tabs, but we'd encourage you to all of the arrows and all of the tabs, just to click on them, because it tells you a story.
But if you look at this kind of stuff, look at our accounts reached 5.6 million. This is what we're talking about. It's like, if you want, all from Reels, if you want your account to reach different people, you've got to do something different to attract different people. If you look at your accounts now and everything you're doing, and it says accounts reached like 7, there's something that needs to shift. And that's where you just got to have the wake up call to yourselves to go, who am I actually, why am I doing all of this work and it's not going anywhere? I've got to shift my strategy a little bit and just try and get this right, change the bio. And that's obviously what we want to kind of help you guys with, but just making sure that, you know, you can up your followers and up you, because they're new people for you. How many times have we got stuck with our own followers? They've already bought the Arbonne or the doTERRA that they, you know, if they were going to buy it, they bought it already. So now we need new followers. Otherwise, you're just basically doing the same information to the same people that are never going to buy again, or your regular clients. But we're looking for new right now. We're looking for new people to come in from Arizona and from California and
billions of people out
Canada
there.
and go, what are you doing? This is exciting. There's billions of people out there.
And ironically, a lot of our client base now is from the US. A lot of people, our reach seems to go a lot to the US, which
Our
is
new
brilliant.
consultant was just from there.
New consultant, but also expect, guys, that you're going to have people unfollow you. When you go through the journey of changing your bio, niching your audience, you will constantly have people follow you and unfollow you. So you can see on the far right there, when we had a biggest growth with some of our content, we had, 8,000 followers. This is over a 90-day period. But we also had 2,000 people unfollow. That's normal, and don't think that will ever change. So people get really disheartened about that, but it's part of the nature of this business. Plus, when you become more niche down, you start to eradicate the bots that appear on your account, and they kind of automatically come out of your account as well. So, right, there's an app that I use. Remember that business trip reel that I shared with you? A lot of times when you're uploading multiple images, static ones, or whether it's video content, doing that within the Reels app can be very clunky, okay? I wouldn't ordinarily do it in that. I would do it in an app, which I find very intuitive. Now, there are two options of this app. I should get actually commissioned for this, but I don't. You can get the free version, but you'll always have your content have the InShot watermark in the corner, which can be, I don't like. Or you can pay something like, I think it's $20 a year, Australian. But have a little play around with the app, and you have this app. And I think this app is so easy and user-friendly. I'm not going to give a full training on how to do it, but we build most of our content in InShot, save the video, and then upload it into Reels. So you may think all of our Reels are being created in Reels, they're not. So
when you see these apps there, or the reels that go 15 pictures of 1 second, and it's like, and ding 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 ding, like that, you go into this app and you basically just upload 15 pictures. And
if you were to try to do that in the Reels app, you drive yourself crazy.
The only thing Reels are doing is, you can probably see, if there's one that you like, it will say use template. So Reels are basically becoming InShot now. They're Instagram's very clever. Instagram figures out what's happening outside, and then it tries to create something to match it. So there are a few Reels where you'll be watching a Reel and it'll say use template. If you click on that, you can upload your footage, and it does it for you. But it's very new, so it's a little bit clunky. But InShot is where we do all of ours, and you basically say 15 photos all at 1 second. But let's say the music wise, it had like a da, 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 right? You might need the first photo to be like 5 seconds, and then the rest of the photos to be 1 second. So you'll just hold on to the photo, and if you want that to be 5 seconds, you tick it. If you want all of them to be the same, it's a double tick, and you just put apply to all. So you might want all of them to be 1 second, or the first 3 to be 5 seconds. You see what I mean? And then you'll just apply it to each single photo. And then the double tick is apply to all. But that's where you'll get the good. And if you put it back to, you save it and then upload it to a trending song and it's off, just have a think to yourself, is it off because it's too quick, or is it off because it's too slow? Go back into InShot and make all the pictures 0.8. Do you see what I mean? Save again, upload. Perfect. Bam, bam, bam. Don't ever post it off.
Don't ever post
it off. Just go back in and try again. 0.9.
Guys,
you'll get it.
It's a skill set, and this is where we become very efficient. So in the beginning, it's gonna take time for you to build. But I also just want to ask a question to everyone. Have you ever had an electronic device in your entire life play up or not work properly?
Never.
Yeah. Okay. Instagram's no different. All right. So when things aren't working the way you want on Instagram, most likely it's the bloody app. Okay. But the first thing we normally do is, it's me, I'm useless. And you want to throw the phone out the window, but Instagram is glitchy. It does make a lot of things not right. So the general rule of thumb is, when you're creating something and you've got it perfect, and then when you post it and it's not quite right, the only time we would tell you to delete is if it's not quite right. Delete it. If you've got a really bad typo or something, delete it. If it's not clear or blurry or just looks ugly, delete it. But otherwise, just leave it there. And you know what? To be honest, sometimes typos can be good, especially with you and your
Yeah, they're not good.
Whenever you
that's
do
the
it
way
wrong,
he just says it because he does it wrong, and then people pick
I
up
always
on it.
get you and you're wrong, and there's always a handful of people.
There's always people like,
but still they comment, right? And it's still engagement. So it's whether you can live with that or not. But I'm come from a perfectionist background, but I've
so his way around it is it's engagement.
I've taught myself to aim for excellence and not perfection. Perfection is a fantasy, so don't fall in that trap. But next slide. These are the other Instagram accounts I want you guys to follow. They're all owned by Instagram. I think I already asked you to follow Instagram in the middle, but you've got Instagram for business and you've got creators. And then when you follow these, remember, go to that little bell right next to the name, and that means you can select that whenever they post something new, you will get updated. There's also the CEO of Instagram, Mozeri. I don't have them there, wait. If you type in this name, Mozeri, why do I not have it? I think it's double S. Keep talking.
There's also Brock and Shalene Johnson from Insta Club Hub. They're really good to follow as well.
Follow this guy. He's the CEO of Instagram, and he does great reels, updating of new features as they're being rolled out. Okay. So
we can't see that.
Okay, just type in the name. Oh yeah, stop share.
Okay. That's the last slide anyway, isn't it?
I've already said that, yeah. Definition of insanity.
All right, let's just stop share. There you go.
And then I'll put that into the camera. Can you see that? You'll get you won't be surprised if you follow him. You'll get all the latest things as they're being rolled out. And as he talks about the things that are being rolled out, they may not appear on your account straight away. It may still take weeks, but at the end of the day, like I said at the start of the call, you want to be a student, guys, and just know that you're going to be ever learning and ever changing with Instagram. But I think we've given you a very solid foundation of things that you need to actually work out and do and get in place. But you're only going to get better at this if you do it for long enough. The same way with our type of business and building a team and selling product, you know, we look for results within the first week. If we don't get them, we run away with our tail between our legs. Guys, it's a long game, Instagram. So it's actually very much paralleled with the type of businesses that we're growing. So if you can adopt that same sort of mentality, I mean, think about some of us who have been in our business for a while now, how we were when we first started. We were like ignorance on fire. We didn't care. We didn't look left or right. But now we have so much more experience in our business and we know what's right and what's wrong. It's the same thing with this, but the biggest mistake people do is, one, they don't do it long enough, and two, they think they've done a course like this now and they think they don't need to do anything else. As
most of you noticed, but you know, Andrew and I have been so busy recently with lots of different things, so we haven't had fresh content. So we've just been reposting content because we've got like a year's supply of really good content. So once you've got your reels that you're happy with,
90 days worth,
you can have a week off with your family and just post something that you've done. You know, my main thing is us, obviously with our bond, but my parents are here too, and it's like, okay, we don't have that time to, and we're doing a lot of Instagram business workshops as well, to make that fresh content, which is not an excuse, but we've got that good content to just repost, and it still gets great views because we've got new followers. So don't always think it has to be fresh.
And if you're wanting to know strategy, you know, at the end of the day, you can simply then write out a Monday through Friday. You can even give yourself a day off on a Sunday. Like, I don't post stories on a Sunday, I've decided, just because it's just, I just don't want to. I want to give myself time out. But every day, just so you know, with the reposting thing, we spend 15 minutes on our account posting to all platforms that we're on. I think they've frozen, 10 is frozen. 15 minutes on their accounts. That's as long as it takes. When we first started this process, it took us a lot longer. So I think people just have a very warped perception of the length of time they need to be spending on social media. Remember, it's an add-on to the person that you are. So most of your business is still belly to belly, face to face. You're going to have the most success there. But this just has to complement everything, because just like a business, if you don't show up on these places, people think that you're closed. You're not open for business.
Business card.
Yeah. All right. So
any questions?
That's it, guys.
We hope you got something from that.
That's a lot of information.
I don't have any questions, but that was great. Thank you.
Pleasure. Absolutely.
Do you feel a bit better? I hope you guys feel a bit better, or do you feel a bit overwhelmed? Tell us, which direction are you going?
Well, a little bit of both, but I absolutely loved everything you shared. It's so practicable, and makes so much sense now. And I think you also just, whilst I understand it's a lot of work, and it's really the consistency and putting that time in to really get the bio right for this point in time, and then continue to work on it.
Yeah.
I think it's been like really, really helpful, because I've been spending so much time on it, and then I get disheartened, and then I just can't be bothered going on it for a week, and I just hate it. Which I don't want to. And I got really clear, even when you talk about my bio today, it just makes so much sense. And I actually I've got an idea. I just need to put it into the words so it's short and sharp. I had a couple of questions, which was just, would you delete old content of your Insta, for example, just to make it look fresh and cleaner? If whatever things I posted years ago.
Only if it's terrible or not related to anything you're doing. There's no point. Not to be fair, no one's going down there.
Yeah, no one's. And once you have
no one, the first kind of maybe 2 lots of 9.
No one's scrolling.
People will see. That's why you can repost. We know you guys might have seen the video that we posted 6 months ago because you're following us, but the new followers coming in, and there are a lot of people who are commenting that I loved this video. This one's the best. So you're still getting engagement. So no. And no one's really going but down there to have a look. So unless it's offensive or it's totally off brand, then you can delete it, of course. But if don't stress.
Yeah.
Make more effort on making new stuff.
Yeah, and the other one I had, you mentioned Facebook, because you can link Instagram to Facebook if it's a business account. So now that we've changed it to a creator account, and I actually personally struggle, I'd rather have something on my private Facebook and make that public, because I find I get nothing from the Facebook business account page. Yeah. So how have you set that up, or have you set that up, like your Facebook?
So if it doesn't automatically share reels anyway, so reels it hasn't got that yet. So we mainly post reels, but when I do post, so I did post a static post of like a carousel the other day, and that automatically went onto my Facebook. So mine's my personal Facebook. We've been trained on this too. Your personal Facebook should be very much a mix of personal and if Facebook just think that you're being purely Arbonne, it won't push it either. So your personal Facebook needs to be, your Instagram needs to be niche, but your personal Facebook needs to have some family in it, and then business, a bit of mix of everything.
At the end of the day, if you're not using the platform the way that the platform wants you to use it,
that's why they've got business pages to keep business on a business page.
And remember, Facebook make a hell of a lot of money out of business pages, because even if you have a business page, don't ever expect there to be a lot of comments and likes on anything you post, purely because they want to guide you to spend money on boosting content so that they can make money off it. So if you're not spending money on boosting content, they're just not going to push your content. But in saying that, it's still good to show up there every day. But I just want to.
But we're there as Tamdrewsocial. We're not there as Arbonne. No. We got rid of that business page. It was not benefiting us whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It's funny, I've just deactivated my one yesterday because I thought it's a waste of time for that. I'm not much on Facebook anymore because of personal reasons. Yeah. So I have a private page, but I just keep going with Instagram, I think, because this way, it's the best way working for me.
And even though your personal reasons, I don't know what they are, just remember though, because since Reels, we started posting not new content, but just the content we have on Instagram on Facebook Reels daily. And in the last 3 months, because Facebook Reels have only been around for 3 months, I had a following on Facebook of 874. Okay. Now I have 7,500 in 3 months of just posting the same reels I was creating on Instagram, uploading them into Facebook. But I totally understand if you got personal reasons.
But the negative thing about that is in Instagram, you can contact the followers. In Facebook, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah.
Great that they're there.
Well, you can contact them, but it ends up in that folder. The message requests you get on Facebook, and not many people know to go click that.
It's not as sexy though, is it?
But
still, it's positive.
And I'm confident. I personally am confident that Facebook and Instagram will start very soon operating exactly the same way. And that means all of those followers that are being gathered in some way, shape, or form is going to benefit me in the future. That's my focus point. Yeah.
Is your Facebook then set to public or private, Andrew?
Public. Yeah, everything's public.
There's no point anything being private, guys.
If there's a post about my kids and stuff, and I feel like I want to make it just friends and family,
you can change that as you actually post.
Individual post, but public.
Okay.
Everything needs to go to the world.
Any other questions, guys?
No.
All right, we can't wait. So, Andrea, wait, me first. Andrea, if you want, speak amongst yourselves, if you want to put us in an Instagram chat, a group chat,
yeah,
everyone that's been on the training, please do, and then we'll be able to help you, be able to see, you'll be able to go, this is my profile, my bio, it's done, what do you think? And then we'll be able to give you feedback in that chat. Instead of it being kind of one-on-one, it'll just be in a place where whoever was on this training, and then we can help each other.
And guys, I want you guys to let go of chasing the followers. Okay, stop chasing the followers and start chasing the engagement. Okay, because you can have a following of 1,000 people, but if you're speaking to all those 1,000 people,
that's amazing. How many do you want?
Different. And you know what, you can really catch out how people who have built Instagram accounts many years ago, how the algorithms changed and how even Instagram are cracking down, because you used to be able to purchase followers, all this sorts of stuff. Look at somebody's followers. If somebody has 100,000 followers, look at their last post, okay, whether it's a reel or a static. Look how much engagement, like how many people are commenting. If there's a lot and they have a lot of followers, that's a good sign that they have built a great community in there organically. But you'll see a lot of accounts with 100,000 followers, and the last post is them of a selfie, nobody's commented. Okay, so that tells a story as well. They probably purchased.
You want engagement.
A lot of their followers. So engagement is king. And remember, guys, you're no longer just sharing who you are and what your life is about. You know, look at me. You're actually adding value and creating a community. And just have that as a forefront of your mind.
I've got another question that just popped into my head. What about tagging in stories and tagging on your feed? Yeah,
stories, don't worry about tagging people. Well, no hashtags in stories anymore. Yeah, tagging people's fine. There's nothing wrong with tagging people. A lot of times I will tag people and I will shrink out their name unless I want other people to click on it.
Just look at the intention why you're doing it.
Yeah, why?
That's what I would say. Why? The only reason I would be tagging is if they were in it, or if it was related to them.
What's your intention with tagging?
And hashtag?
Hashtags are like winning the lottery, and then hashtags you don't need to put hashtags in stories at all.
Don't waste time on hashtags.
Hashtags in your actual reels and posts, yes, but about 3 to 5, and just space it out. Like do like 5 gaps. Andrew does ... I just do return.
I do 5 dots. The reason being is that when you have your hashtags so closely grouped to your caption, you look like the only reason you're posting it is to
you're trying too hard.
You know what I mean? It's to separate it so it looks more.
And don't put it in your comments, just put it in your caption.
And just look at Tamdrewsocial if you want to see that play out, how it looks, and ask yourself how you feel. But as Tam says, it's like playing the lottery. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But if you forget to post without hashtags, don't worry about it. But that whole strategy of 30 hashtags, copy and paste, it's all gone. Don't worry about it.
Why is it? Is it like it's just now 3 to 5? It's not
3
much.
to
Like
5.
It's just
yeah.
And the hashtags as well. Don't keep to the same ones.
That's because it looks. How terrible did it look with 30 hashtags? Yeah. You do this big post, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, I used to do it in the past. Like
of course,
I had to do it in the comments because there was not space in the caption anymore.
Yeah, but it still looks weird in your comments when you go into comment.
Yeah.
Post, they've got a comment. You go into comment, and the only comment they've got is their 30 hashtags. It's just, yeah, it's just evolved, guys.
And yeah, hashtags have to be relevant though, the few that you do use to what you're talking about, what's in your video.
All right, set up that chat, Andrea, and we'll go from there. Love you guys. Thank you for trusting us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.